That was
Yo, what is up, everybody? This is Xbox Ultimate Podcast, episode number 193. Getting closer and closer to that 200 mark. I want to thank everybody here for being in the chat. Whether you're watching live now or if you watch later, you listen on audio platforms as well. Appreciate that. Thanks, 3-Bit. Yeah.
You're welcome. Had to hype you up a little bit.
Yeah. If you listen on audio platforms or wherever you are, you rock. And thanks for just being a part of what we do. This is it's been kind of like light news, really. There's some things going on with FTC. There's the Nvidia thing. There's things like that. But ultimately, really, this week it's all about Game Pass and like having a plethora of games hit Game Pass for day and date releases, I think. And I don't think enough people are really highlighting how amazing of a week it is for this many day and date good games hitting all at once. On top of that, also that college football trial that just tons and tons of people were playing for 10 hours. I know like many of us just poured through that like super fast. But yeah, we got an awesome panel here today. We got some of my bros and get around to them. What's up, 3-Bit? How you doing, bro?
Doing pretty good, man. Today was a heavy work day, so lots of commercial work I was working on, showing you guys in the green room. Me and the wifey were watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So she's watching for the first time. It's actually a good time for me because I forgot a lot of the little details. So when things happen, I'm like, oh wait, yeah, I remember that. So that's really fun, and I've caught up a little bit on some the Game Pass games that came out. What was it? It was two Game Pass games I
So
played.
there's Flintlock was a big one. There's
Flintlock.
Path of the Goddess is one that hit
Okay,
today.
yeah, those two. So
Okay.
Path of the Goddess and Flintlock. I got a chance to play both of those. So when we did FSP for Flintlock, and they had the trailer where it's basically like this is like a Dark Soulsy or Souls like experience. And when I was playing, I was like, I could see where Souls like inspired for sure, but it's definitely more um action based than what I was expecting. But I'm enjoying that so far. I got through some of the first sort of tutorial section. There's a lot of tutorials it is that throws in your face in the very beginning. So I'm trying to learn all that. But I'm liking the combat, so I'm playing that. I'm playing I played a little bit of Path of the Goddess. Um, Not too bad as well. And then I've been playing NBA, so it's been a good gaming week um for me. Enjoying those three games. Game Pass, the service that keeps on giving. So
Yeah.
been loving that.
Nice, man. Yeah, it's really good week this week. Just lots of awesome stuff to play. What about you, Fuzz? What you been up to, man?
Well, as far as for gaming, not much. It's been a terrible week as far as that's concerned. I've been playing Power Outage, the simulation game, and yell at your power company and tag in senators or politicians to see if it makes any difference, which it doesn't. But just being frustrated. But other than that, glad to be here with you guys. Power finally came on like around 6:10 today after being out since Tuesday around 8:30 ish. So yeah, shopping tomorrow. Not just for food again because everything in the freezer and fridge is trash. But yeah, I am not going to wait until we get the next house to get the generator. Was going to wait, do the whole solar roof, battery backup, generator. Almost like a prepper's heaven kind of thing, an off the grid type of deal. But yeah, Pico is proven once again. Yeah, don't wait while the time is good. Get prepared, even if you're moving within the next couple of years. But anyway, outside of that stuff, just glad to be here. I'm gonna definitely have to catch up on some of the games that hit Game Pass. Still maintain my my Microsoft Rewards point streak on my phone, and even try to do some podcasts on my phone. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But glad to be back on my PC, and man, it's time to get a load off, talk about some of these games and some of the things over the week. But glad to be here with you.
Yeah, right on, man. Appreciate you being here as always, Fuzz. Also, I caught a little bit of your wife's new podcast earlier that you're
Oh, yeah.
on,
That was awesome.
was about horror movies and stuff, and it was absolutely awesome. Y'all, this was y'all's second episode that you did
Mhm.
this week, right? So yeah, everybody make sure you check that out. It's Furious Fee on the YouTube channel. And what's the name of the actual podcast again, Fuzz?
Fright Night with Furious Fee. I'm just going to keep it simple, but we're going to we change up topics on different genres of horror. Like this week was zombies. Last week was possession, and I think we're going to be coming up on slashers here soon. And then we'll probably rotate all the different genres or have a focal point movie to talk about and stuff. But zombies is my favorite part of horror. But
Yeah.
that was a fun topic today.
Right on, man. Yeah, and after we say hi to Pong, I want to talk a little bit about movie stuff here because I had a revelation, and I actually had it while I was listening to your show earlier because I'll get into it in a minute. I think Pong will be interested in this topic too because I know he's an old hat and a nostalgia man, lives in the old days. What's up, Pong? How are you doing, bro?
I'm exhausted, brother. I'm not gonna lie. It's been one of those weeks, so
Yeah,
I'm dragging ass right now. But I am glad to be here. Obviously, I showed up. I have officially had my fill of Concord. So I played some more Concord a little bit earlier. And I can say that I played it and tried it, and yeah, it's not for me. So. I wouldn't spend $40 on it. It's fine. It's a fine game. Like I said last night, I'm not going to sit here and rip it for no reason and say it's trash. It ain't trash. The characters are trash. I thought there was maybe 2 or 3 interesting characters. Now playing them, no. These characters are the most generic, bland ass characters.
Do you think
of all time?
Even if it was free to play, it would be different enough to stand out and have a chance?
No. I
Right.
was actually that's you're being psychic again because I was going to bring that up. Even if it wasn't $40, right? If this was just a free to play game, right? Certainly more people would jump into it.
Right.
Certainly more people would try it out. I'm sure there'd be some people that would say that they're having a good time and legitimately having fun with the game. Again, the shooting is good. I mean, again, Destiny veterans made it. Guns feel good. They're just not satisfying. Like the kills aren't satisfying. But yes, I do believe that probably some people would play it. Just because it's a new IP and some people really like that. I mean, obviously we know that some of the older, really successful IPs like Overwatch and that kind of stuff get hate just because they've been around for so long. And so a lot of people will jump into new stuff just to play something different. But does it have anything now that I've put over an hour in, I'm like level 7, I've raised levels on a couple characters and saw some of the customization and that kind of stuff. Is there anything here like that grabs that hook that I talked about, that we all talked about when we first started seeing videos of this? There's nothing. I mean, again, the powers are okay. There's some that are obviously way better than others, which you're going to get no matter what in any kind of shooter. But are any of them spectacular? Do any of them really stand out? Like, no, they don't. Like, they work. Like, again, this game exists. It performs well. Again, I've had 0 problems on the PC whatsoever. It looks crispy. It looks nice. It's vibrant. The CG and that kind of stuff, because it's sci-fi. So they show your ship entering, like the orbit of different planets and stuff. And that looks all beautiful. I love sci-fi scenery like that. So that looks beautiful. There's some really cool stuff in there. But the level design, some of it just feels way too big. I said last night that, like the one character I was using, she felt a little bit faster than I thought. I tried some of the other characters and it felt like what people were talking about,
right,
seeing the video. Way too slow movement. Way too slow movement for the size of maps. Not every character is like that, but there is a lot of the characters that are just extremely slow. especially in a hero shooter. In this hero shooter, you can't go off alone. Okay. If you're alone, if you break pack, you're in trouble. So the thing is if you get into a group of players that break off in like 3-2, and one side gets wiped, well, while you're waiting for the other two to revive, the remaining three are at a disadvantage. And then because of the placement, depending on where they're on the map, it could take those other two a bit to get to you, right? And so that all of a sudden you're at a disadvantage for a lot longer than you should be in this type of hero shooter. I don't mind the TTK, the time to kill. A lot of people complain about it. I've played all different types of games that have long TTK and ones that have short TTK. It's never bothered me. I just adapt to whatever the game is. Is it pretty spongy? Yeah, the characters are really spongy in this game. But again, it's fine. I'm glad they're trying it.
Do the characters feel different?
Yeah, they all have their different abilities. They all do feel different. They all carry different weapons as well. So you don't ever get the same. If you're playing different characters, you're getting a completely different experience weapon wise, because they're all extremely unique weapons. Some of them are plain flat out worthless to me. Some of them were decent.
PvE, right?
It's PvP. No,
it's like 5v5. Overwatch, Valorant,
yeah, 5v5.
Besides the trailer, I haven't seen anything of it. So
it's but like I said, the characters themselves are so generic. I wasn't drawn to any of them. Like once I started playing, I'm like, oh, okay, this is a dude. Okay, oh great, this is an alien chick. Okay, cool. Like it wasn't like, oh my god, I'm actually interested, because they have CGI stories to go along with this. That's I guess their hook is they're going to introduce stories. Like even more, you know how Overwatch does their little CGIs and kind of introduces characters and that kind of stuff, and they have little things. They're going to do more than that. And some of the CGI sequences in this game are very long, and it's an actual story. So I guess that's what they figured they were going to hook people with. But I don't see too many people caring about a lot of these characters. These characters are boring as fuck. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they came out and said, yeah, we had AI generate these characters. Like that's like how it feels. And it's weird because if you look at them, they're colorful, they're well designed, but there's just no personality. I'll go back to what I said. There's no soul to this game whatsoever. It's just a generic hero shooter.
Like a check mark.
But like that's in contrast to Herman Hulst expectations for this game.
Yeah, but do we know those quotes are real?
I don't know. I've seen them floating around social media.
Again, we
like
have
it's
a
gonna
massive
be the
problem.
most important game ever for PlayStation or something like that.
We have a massive problem over the past. It's always been here.
Well,
but over the past year and a half, there's been a lot of accounts created that legit just
make shit up. Yeah, like
absolutely bullshit.
What was the Christopher Nolan Halo show thing that was going around?
That goat account. That oh my god, King reposted it to troll the PlayStation community. He legitimately, somebody called him out and he goes, "Yeah, I know. I look at you reacting to it." He legitimately posted that count makes up everything. Like it's just like we have a lot of that. So I
saw that. I was like,
I can't believe those Herman Hulst quotes.
Once I seen that account, I was just like,
the Herman Hulst thing is like,
bro, there's no way he said that. The Horizon part is what really threw it off.
If he did, then I'm legitimately concerned for the thinking.
Well, let's put it this way. If they turned out to be true, then I would go, oh, okay, well, no wonder they canceled Factions 2. No wonder why they canceled Twisted Metal. If this is how Herman Hulst thinks, well, no wonder why the obvious advantage-laden games got canceled and Herman just picked this out of the bunch and said, oh, no, this is generational type shooter. Right. Legit, that's part of the quote. That's where I go, come on. There's no way Herman said this is generational. Like there's no way he said that shit. But yeah, so it exists, it's fine. Other than that, I haven't tried any of the Game Pass games yet. I've downloaded Dungeons of Hinterberg, downloaded obviously Kunitsu Gami Path of the Goddess. That's been preloaded. I had that preloaded forever. So I'll be diving into those this weekend, but I have not had a chance to play those yet. I had played Flintlock at the demo on PC for the Steam. When they had it, found out it wasn't for me, but I did come out and say, I think there's going to be some people who like it. I'm gonna get Steele's opinion. He's been streaming it, and he did post. I think he responded to somebody and said that some things are off. The dodge ain't quite right all the time. It's inconsistent, but he is loving a lot of the other stuff in the game. So I'll get his thoughts tomorrow morning on Living Split Screen. Yeah. But I figured that a lot of people would like this game. Now, obviously, the reviews have been all over the board with this one. So it's going to be one of those games where if you got Game Pass, just download and try it. Don't listen to the reviews. See if you like it. So I see a lot of people really digging it, and that's cool. Again, it's not AAA, it's AA. What I played, though, there was some really quality stuff in there. There was some really cool moments in there. The little God Fox that's with you, I forget his name.
I love that little fox thing.
Yeah, no, he's cool. And his combat moves that you can level up, and you can actually bring his skill up, introduces some very cool mechanics that is very different from a Souls-like. And I was going to say, to your point, 3-bit, the devs backed off the Souls-like, and they came out and said Souls-light. They said, we're not quite like you said, and that's what I kind of felt too.
Yeah.
Was it still too Soulsy for me? Yeah, it was. But that's okay. Again, I don't blame the game. Again, that's fine. But they definitely backed off, and when I was playing it, I was thinking the same thing. This is definitely more actiony, and especially once you got the God Fox powers and he could do things in combat to help you out, it changed the dynamic of the combat even a little bit as well. So I thought that was cool, but I'm really excited. Dungeons of Hinterberg is getting some rave reviews. Some people are playing it and loving it. Now people are comparing it to Zelda. I won't be able to compare it to Zelda because I have zero interest in Zelda, and I haven't played any of the new Zeldas, so I don't care. But I do have interest in the style, and I really like what people are saying about the exploration and that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to jump into Dungeons of Hinterberg. And obviously, again, Path of the Goddess, I've been saying since we first started seeing it that I thought maybe this could be a Game of the Year conversations. Now, it didn't score that high. It scored like an 80 or whatever, 81. But I see some people who have the same kind of thoughts that I did when I was playing through the demo. Now playing the full game, people are going, no, there's this blending of genres is super cool, especially if you like tower defense RTS games. You're going to love this game. And that's what I was feeling when I was playing the demo. Again, 45 minutes, I was sold. So I can't wait to hop into that. Otherwise, as I said last night, finished off the regular normal campaign in the First Ascendant. I'm on to Endgame, and I haven't touched it this week at all, but I'll be touching that again this weekend, I have a feeling. And then otherwise, earlier in the week, as Mav and I had a huge discussion last night on PM the PM, and he just brought it up in the beginning, college football 2025. Yeah. I'm still on the fence whether or not I'm going to buy it, as I explained last night, time-wise, with all the other games coming out, and I only play it single player. Do I need to buy it now? Probably not. I don't. And again, I am still on a budget, and I bought a lot of games this year, and I'm just like, man, do I really do this, or do I just hold off and wait? But I will, as I said last night, 2.2 million people have already played this game. Another 600,000. That was pre-purchasing, right? So the big additions, 600,000 more played it through the free trial, which was myself included. That is magnificent for this team and for college football being back. And the real deal is everybody's singing its praises and saying Mills, the guy I brought up last night that does a ton of streaming of sports games and stuff, and breaks all this stuff down. He came out today and said, this is generational. This is a generational game. He is so happy with this game. He's legit like, this is the way football should be. Yeah. This is the real deal. So, I played that all at the beginning of the week, Monday through Wednesday. I was playing college football nonstop. Road to Glory is a fantastic mode. I'm having a blast with that, with my 5-star Pong Soul quarterback recruit that I sent to Arizona State. Even through the losses, like I was saying last night, this game brings something special. This dev team captured the magic from the original NCAA and brought it forward. It's not perfect. There's a lot they can improve upon, but the actual gameplay and the modes that they have in it are very well thought out, very well done. As Mav and I were talking about, the big play is back as it should be in football. And it is fun to run for a change. It's like Madden, not always fun to run, terrible blocking, terrible reads, all that. This brings it back to the 2K days, to the original NCAA days where it was fun to run. This is what football should be. And a lot of people are going to be extremely happy playing college football 25 this year for a very long time. I imagine this is going to be a big one for EA and that team. So that's all I've been doing, man. But glad to be here, man. Short news week. And let's get down to it, brother.
Yeah, man. I got to give a shout out to you real quick for last night, like after PM and the PM.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to try that either, but yeah.
After PM and the PM, you're like, hey, Mav, dude, remember that game, Tempest Rising? There's a demo on Steam, and I was like, which one is that? You're like, it's like it's supposed to be like Command and Conquer or whatever, and I was like, oh yeah. So I went and downloaded the demo like right after, and last night I tried it. I didn't try it for too long, but like I started one of the missions that they gave you for the demo. Now this isn't an Xbox thing. It's only on Steam, right?
Right.
Or PC release, but holy fuck, dude. Like, I at this point, fuck EA. I don't care if they make a new Command and Conquer game. You know what? Because Saber and 3D Realms is involved in this shit. What the fuck, 3D Realms? I was like, had no idea.
It's got to be original Command and Conquer people part of this team. Right?
It's got it because it's like it's produced by or whatever them, and then like there's another developer. I can't remember the name of the developer. I mean, whatever that team is probably actually the lead development team on this thing, right? So I played it, and it's like this is legitimately it's a new Command and Conquer game. They just changed the names of things, right?
Yep.
Like the music, the style, the building, the way, everything. It's like a brand new, and it's fucking amazing. Like the graphics are good. Like I'm like, oh my god, like this, they fucking made a new Command and Conquer game. Somebody else did it. Like this is legitimately Command and Conquer. So, dude, I am ecstatic, over the moon over that fucking game, bro. Like my heart was so happy I was playing this. I couldn't believe it.
No, Mav DM'd me right after too. And like I was getting ready for bed. He's DMing me. He's like, bro, this is Command and Conquer. He's like, day one. And I'm like, oh my god,
oh my god. When you play it, dude, you will be like, holy shit. Like I'm afraid they're gonna get sued by EA. Actually, like this is like so close.
I was watching videos, and it does. It reminds me of a lot of Command.
Instead of Tiberium, it's Tempest, and like they have a whole like nod thing, you know. They have like instead of GDI, it's called something else or whatever, like GDA. I don't know. But it's pretty much the same kind of thing, bro. It's like absolutely fucking amazing. And this is Tempest Rising, and there's a demo on Steam right now.
The only reason I knew about it, Mav, is because there was a Tactico presentation yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, but I can't think right now. I'm so sorry, guys. The publisher Manor Lords, one of my favorite new publishers.
Kepler?
Something horse. No, something horse.
Hooded Horse.
Dark Horse?
No, that's Dark Horse. What is it?
Hooded Horse? Hooded Horse, yeah.
Hooded Horse.
Hooded Horse.
They sponsored a whole show yesterday on some of the indie AA tactics games coming out, and they talked about that again. That's why that demo was released yesterday. It was a brand new demo released yesterday on the Steam, and that's why I had seen it. And I was like, oh shit, that's right, that game. And then I remembered to tell you about it. So I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I'm glad you played it. And what you're telling me, let's go. Let's go, bro.
Yeah, I'm telling you guys, if you're a Command and Conquer fan, if you are like upset that EA is like pretty much let this franchise die and it's one of the godfathers of RTS genre, period, right? If you miss it, play Tempest Rising, play the demo. It's free on Steam right now, and you will just be hit with like, holy shit, Command and Conquer's back. Because that's entirely what I was feeling the whole time I was playing. Chris Jones with a $5 super chat says, wait, hold the fuck up. Did I hear Command and Conquer? Yes, you did hear Command and Conquer, Chris Jones. Try Tempest Rising on Steam. Man, I hope that eventually like this game is really successful and they do like a console port. Oh my god. Anyway.
Are they a new publishing studio? I've never heard of.
Saber is the publisher. Saber Interactive.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
Saber and then 3D Realms is involved too, which is crazy.
Oh, wow.
I was like, it was weird. I saw 3D Realms. I was like, what?
That's so random.
Yeah,
it's like they
is.
disappear. Like, what are they working on? They're like, bam, and then they fade back out.
So the other thing I wanted to talk about, going back to my nostalgia theme right now. Guess what movie we watched last night? We watched not Command and Conquer. Fuck.
Command and Conquer the movie.
The movie. Yeah, they made a movie. Who knew, right? No, they made. We watched The Terminator last night.
Oh,
The
wow.
original Terminator.
Oh, okay.
1984, James
OG.
Cameron.
It's
right.
It's fantastic.
And like
in the beginning of the movie, it says like in the future, like
yeah.
2016 or something.
And
right?
the reason I brought it up earlier when you're watching your show earlier, Fuzz, with your wife, I was thinking like the first Terminator is kind of like a horror movie. It's like you might as well replace the Terminator with Michael Myers, right? The same thing. He's just like won't let her get away. He's like walking slow and stuff, like all this. Anyway, but like that's gonna be our next marathon. But I had just realized, because remember I told you recently we also watched Beverly Hills Cop. So, and that came out in 1984. I realized the Terminator also came out in 1984. So I was like, I just was curious what all movies came out in 1984. And people talk about the box office isn't the same and all these other kind of things. And holy shit, like to see oh my God, I was looking at this list of movies.
Pretty much any year in the 80s and 90s, and it's ridiculous.
It just, I'm
Blockbuster
going to go.
after blockbuster.
I'm going to go down all in the same year. Could you imagine if we had this kind of shit hitting the theater week after
Well,
fucking week?
you've seen some of those pictures, man, that people have of like the old theater. Whatchamacallit? I forget. God damn it. I can't think right now. Anyways, the marquees where they got the names of the movies, and it's like 3 classics that were playing at the exact same time in the movie theater. When we were kids, we would buy for 1 ticket, and then we would just sneak into the theater next door to see the next showing. But that's how many good movies were playing all the time, like on a regular basis. Like you had what now are considered classics playing like all the time at the theaters. It's so good.
I was looking for it. So this is just I looked on IMDb just for the top 50 like of 1984. Now, like obviously if it didn't rate as high, it's not going to show up on this list from the user scores. But okay, Terminator, Amadeus, the movie about Mozart, like that was also really good,
which is great.
Once Upon a Time in America. Which is Sergio Leone, Robert De Niro movie, right? Classic gangster flick. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Oh wow, that was the
same year. Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep.
Wow, what the heck?
This is Spinal Tap. Throw a little nod to that as well. Gremlins. Beverly Hills Cop. The Karate Kid.
Oh yeah.
The Never Ending Story.
Wow.
16 Candles.
Wow.
The Police Academy.
Yeah, freaking
good year.
Romancing the Stone.
I don't know that one.
Oh, it's great.
Michael Douglas.
It's classic.
Oh my God, bro, you gotta see it. It is a rip off of Indiana Jones, but it's a comedy. It's so freaking awesome, man. It is freaking awesome. You gotta see it.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Dune.
Who's in it? The original.
The original Dune.
Yeah, the original Dune, which is
the Natural, one of the best baseball movies ever fucking
good,
made,
man.
Bro. Dun, 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 dun.
Bro, it chills every time.
Whenever the Texas Rangers hit a home run, they play that song in the stadium. It's like,
what was his name? Roy Hobbs.
Yeah, Roy Hobbs. Yeah.
Yep.
Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock.
So fucking.
Starman.
Oh my God, classic.
Some of these I don't remember. 2010. But it's on anyway. Footloose.
Oh, freaking
classic.
Repo Man. Revenge of the Nerds.
Bro, classic.
The Last Starfighter.
Freaking classic.
I don't know that one.
Red Dawn.
Oh, 3-bit. You gotta go watch The Last Starfighter. It's based on arcade.
Starfighter.
It's based on arcade game. You gotta go watch it. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Chosen one.
What was that one after The Last Starfighter?
Red Dawn.
Oh, freaking Jesus!
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm skipping some that like I'm not as
Yeah.
familiar with. Muppets Take Manhattan, classic. Sorry.
Classic. I was begging them
Uh,
up. Muppets, man. Muppets were great.
Splash.
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's see here. Bachelor Party.
Oh my God, another
Oh,
Tom.
yeah.
Yeah.
I also don't know that one.
Like,
Oh,
I
Bachelor
know
Party is
a lot of.
freaking amazing, bro. Splash.
I was
Did you
surprised
see
how much I
Splash?
knew from that
Did you
list.
see Splash though? 3-bit.
Yeah, I seen
Okay.
Splash.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Daryl
But I
Hannah
haven't
was amazing in
seen
that.
Last Starfighter. I was starting to write some of those down. just 'cause
Yes,
I'm
Micah
curious.
Ford, Purple Rain was that year as well. That's when the album launched. Yep. Yep.
there's the Killing Fields.
Mm.
Paris, Texas.
Yep.
These are some of the ones I kind of skipped over real quick. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. I think that's like a classic
Is that a
anime.
cartoon?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Was it
that's,
that long ago? 84?
84,
Wow.
bro. Yeah.
Nausicaa was
That's
84?
Ghibli.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I thought
Yeah.
Nausicaa was 90s. Really? 84? I did not realize that.
Yeah, I thought that was also 90s. Wow. So that must have been before Princess Mononoke.
Yes. Princess Mononoke was 90s.
Mononoke, yeah.
That was a new one from Ghibli in the 90s.
Yeah.
I saw that in the theater when
So,
it launched.
I was just
Wow, really? That's sick.
and these are just like on the top 50 for IMDb for the year, like in the list there. But I was just like, holy shit, like that many. You
Okay.
fucking had Temple of Doom, Terminator, Beverly Hills Cop, fucking like Karate
Ghostbusters?
Kid, Ghostbusters, all the same fucking year.
I remember
Oh,
seeing a
you
lot
mean
of
when
those in the
Hollywood was
movie
actually
theater.
creative and had talent? Oh, God, it's freaking amazing. Amazing.
That was also a time when a lot of movie studios where it was common for like Warner Brothers to have like 100 movies in 1 year, or
and they
stuff like
weren't as
that.
consolidated as they are now.
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
Right?
we're
bunch of
lucky to
smaller
get.
studios making stuff too. And
Yeah.
it wasn't like, again, there was no CGI or barely any. You got to go watch The Last Starfighter, by the way, because the CGI was cutting edge in that.
Oh yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
wait till you
Yeah.
see it, man. It's freaking amazing. But yeah, the cost of movies were down, so they had a bunch of smaller studios that were making movie after movie, trying things. They were actually creative. They were taking risks. New actors and actresses were being found at all times. Like there was people just popping up. Like that year, Tom Hanks. He had 2 movies that year. Splash is obviously the biggest well-known that put him on the scene in a lot of ways, but Bachelor Party was a great movie. Fantastic. And it's Tom Hanks doing straight up comedy. Like it's so good, man. But yeah, that's the golden age, man.
Yeah, like
that's
for
okay.
creation, it was like a renaissance in the 80s. Like not with animation and cartoons and stuff, but also like the movies. Like most of the big popular franchises that people enjoy today are still like in the late 70s or 80s were when they
I'm
were
surprised
created.
I knew a lot of those movies because I guess my parents had a lot of those movies and would show it to me because I was born in '94. But yeah, a lot of those movies that you listed are great movies, and it does make me think of that time period when a lot of studios would just make a bunch of movies. Like I was saying, like Warner Brothers would have 100 movies, and it was like basically people would go like, "Oh, that's a Warner Brothers production, that's a Columbus production, et cetera, et cetera." And now we're lucky if we get like 2 to 3 movies from like a studio where they just put a bunch of money into like one big movie, have The Rock in it, and call it a day.
Kind of like video games,
It's so
huh?
forbid.
Kind of like video games, except we still have smaller studios making games, right? Whereas movies,
Yeah.
I mean, you still have indie movies, you still have small movies, but they don't get anywhere near the publicity. Back then, it was like crazy how many movies showed up, and it didn't even matter if they didn't have the biggest marketing budgets. People still found out, heard about it through friends. The word of mouth was crazy from the theaters, and you just went and saw it, and you just went. Like it was so again seeing 3 movies in a weekend that nowadays would be considered classic hits wasn't abnormal back then. Like that's what we did, man. It was such a great time. And Treybone, I can hear the 90s too. I agree. The 80s and 90s are peak Hollywood for me. Peak Hollywood. Like again, you can go through and find B movies that only a handful of people saw when you think about the wider audience that are legit really great fucking movies. and you'd be lucky to get that out of any of the mainstream movies nowadays. You're lucky if a few of them are good, like last year with Oppenheimer and Barbie and that kind of stuff. You have so many failures these days, or so many movies that don't hit the way they're supposed to. Back then, you just had unknowns hitting and hitting and hitting, coming out of nowhere. It was so good, man.
And I think the cost factor, because I remember that time frame, like they had it where you had $1 and $2 movies if you were seeing it before like 5 p.m. or something like that. So
well,
right
they
after
had
school,
dollar theaters too, which is like the movies would leave the regular theater and they would go to the dollar theater, right? So like if you were content with waiting like a month or a few weeks, you know, you just go to the dollar theater, you know?
Yeah, I used to go to those. I don't know how many exist. I'm sure there's maybe some out there, but all the ones that used to be near me have closed out.
I will say I've noticed a trend in the last like few weeks of our local theater here in town being a lot busier. Like when we drove by it today, they were pretty damn busy, and I think that it's starting to come back a little bit this summer, and there's some pretty good releases coming out soon. So I mean, Deadpool is gonna. I mean that movie is gonna be fucking huge, right?
Yeah.
Like Deadpool.
I should have bought my ticket already. Shoot.
Oh, it's gonna be like I think
buy tickets now if you want it early. That first weekend.
I can't wait to see it. We just went to see the new Despicable Me movie the other day on Tuesday night when you were out of power, Fuzzy.
Yeah,
y'all should have went to see Despicable Me.
We wound up doing the movies. I think it was last night actually. We went to see a sci-fi movie, that Quiet Place Day One. It wasn't bad.
Okay.
It's right up my alley, but it wasn't like blockbuster level, but it was good enough for me.
Is that like that the Quiet Place is the Emily Blunt like franchise? There's a new one.
I believe so, but this is supposed to be how everything started, kind of
right?
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. Cool, man. Shout out to Spartan661 that hit us with a very generous 5 Fun Speculation memberships. Choo choo, motherfuckers. Thank you so much, Spartan. Appreciate it. Appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching the show, watching all our content. Choo choo. Okay, sorry, I had to add
Let's
that
go.
Let's
go.
Yeah, you guys rock. Thank you all for being a part of what we do here and the support for the channel. You guys rock. Yeah, let's get into some little bit of gaming conversation. Kind of started with this Game Pass conversation now, and like I've only dabbled in a little bit like of Path of the Goddess, just the opening part, and I had to leave the house, right? So I was playing that. So far I went and did like this opening sequence where you got to go through and you kind of the tutorial part, you kind of go through and you slash through a bunch of enemies and get to a gate and stuff, and then you kind of hold off a horde and stuff, and I'm already sold. Like just a few minutes into the game, I'm like, this feels good. It looks good. It plays good. I get the classic tower defense elements here, protecting these gates now. I understand the core concept of what I'm going to be doing going forward. I see how these other people are positioned to defend certain areas. I already have an idea of where this game is going to go. I'm already fucking sold. I love it. The music, art style, the controls, everything about what this like very, very finite amount of time I've played this game. I can already tell you this game is 100% made for somebody like me, and I am going to be enjoying the shit out of it, and I can't believe I don't even have to pay for a brand new IP from Capcom that's a blend of action / tower defense in this kind of world and setting, day and date into a subscription service for gaming. It's absolutely nuts, and I am super happy about that. So there's that game. Flintlock, I've tried some. I played. I told you guys how I played. I played it on the cloud on the Game Pass app the other day, and I was enjoying it. I think it's like a kind of a fun game if you're into those kind of games. It kind of like is a little bit of a throwback in some ways, with the way the controls and the graphics are, and it's not saying it has bad graphics, bad controls or anything like that. It just kind of reminds me of like a little bit of more of an old school style with the path and stuff that you're taking and stuff. It's I don't think it's going to be like that a super big hit or anything like that, but I think it's a fun game for action game fans and Souls light type players and stuff. And then that's the only two so far I've tried. I'm excited to try Dungeons of Hinterberg as well, and I also wanted to try that witch game, the one that was a 3-bit game, the Magical Delicacy or whatever it's called or whatever. Yeah. I just something. It looks kind of interesting. I don't know, like, but Kunitsu Gami out of this batch of Game Pass releases, day and day, it's going to be my shit, right? But I'm also getting college football. I'm going to actually purchase it tonight after the show and go forward with that. So that'll be my 2 games going forward. Plus, I'll be rocking this demo on Tempest Rising on Steam, but they don't have a release date for that game yet, so I couldn't find one.
It's coming this year.
Yeah,
so
it was supposed to come out last year, and they pushed it.
Yeah,
so
they pushed it, but I think they're getting ready. But yeah, there wasn't an update to that. So, but it should be.
Yeah,
it should be by the end of the year.
Yeah, so I'm super happy about these games that we get to play. I mean, we're eating good right now, guys. Like, for fucking games, and this is in July. This is usually kind of more of a downtime for games. Usually it's kind of like a lull in releases. You kind of just have to look forward to some sports games, maybe a game here or there, and then the fall is when, you know, we get the deluge of games. But right now for summertime, like, this is pretty sweet, dude. And something we kind of talked about before is kind of got vibes from like Xbox Live Arcade era, where you had like the summer of gaming or whatever, when they had the Xbox Live Arcade deals all in one batch and they highlighted specific games. It feels like these are the games, even though they're not indies or, you know, just like arcade style games, but like all at once within the same week. It kind of feels like that right now. And I'm super thinking there's something here with this batch of releases for everybody, no matter what kind of gamer you are, right? Is there one that stood out to you, a 3-bit, that you're more interested in from this list of games that just hit?
So with my time with Flintlock, I was enjoying the combat of it. Like I was saying, like when we all watched the trailer together, it was saying like Souls-like. So I was like, okay. I was getting action from the trailer, like a little bit more action oriented, and that is pretty much what it is when I went into it. I'm liking there's like a big tree for where you want to where you're able to upgrade like your fox magic character and your abilities and stuff like that. I'm interested in exploring that a little bit more. I didn't fully get to explore it. Like, I basically talked to the fox and played a little bit after that, after some of the tutorial and getting used to some of the combat and things like that. But so far enjoying it. I could see where some people might be mixed on it. It's like the production on some aspects, like it feels kind of indie at some points with some of the sound. Like there was this war in the beginning, and then it felt quiet. I'm like, huh. But that's just me, because like I'm on the production side, so I would have asked for like put some more war sounds and stuff going on in the back. But some of the designs of the creatures I'm really digging. So I'm gonna play that a little bit more and see how I end up liking it. As for Path of the Goddess, I played that a little bit. So you guys, you two played Path of the Goddess.
Just slightly.
I played the demo.
So
yeah,
you played demo. Okay. So when you're attacking enemy, I noticed, so there's like you have like two kind of attacks. When there's like a horde of enemies, does your attack kind of change depending on how many enemies are in an area? Because when I remember I was like slicing enemies, and
it's your combos.
It's your combo. Okay, so
you gotta learn your combos, because there are combos that unleash extra. It'll change up your swing and that kind of stuff. You can you're probably
great.
Pulling off combos. Yes.
Okay. When I was doing, I was like trying to figure out what I was doing. Like, was I just pressing a combination of buttons, or was it like when there's okay, that felt really good. I was like, ooh, this is kind of cool.
Have you jumped into photo mode yet? 3-bit
for Flintlock or for
for Path of the Goddess?
No, not for Path yet.
You have in the middle of the action, go to the photo mode and go take a look at the action in photo mode. Go take a look at the details on the enemies. bro. It's ridiculous what Capcom's pulling off. Like,
Heck
it's
yeah.
crazy because there's so much going on the screen in this game.
Yeah, I love this style.
It's
So
really colorful. It's flashy, and you miss a lot of it. You go into photo mode, you get a good look at that because they even keep like how they have the light from your sword as it arcs through enemies and that kind of stuff. That all shows up in the photo mode, so you get
Heck yeah.
all of it. It's gorgeous, man.
And I'm a photo mode man. Like, I love going in photo mode for hours.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Beautiful.
I forgot what I was gonna ask.
What were you gonna ask?
I don't know.
It's funny. It's funny though, Mav, that you saw lore pop onto Nobody Wants to Die.
Yeah, I did. I
'Cause
saw it in the bottom right corner of my screen.
I was gonna say too. I know he popped up my mind too by alert, and I was like, "Oh, Jasper's hitting Nobody Wants to Die." I want to check that game out. I saw some screenshots.
I'm seeing people really like praise it, you know, and
it held up to the trailer. Some people didn't think that trailer was legit, and here we are again, another game, small studio showing up legit. Oh, it's a good time to be a gamer. Folks.
Yeah, it's like only 20 something bucks or something. Like
$30 bucks.
The thing is 30. There's only like so much time right now. It's the only thing keeping me from buying it.
I said I wasn't going to download any games because I was like, I'm going to finish what I have in my library. But dang, these games came out. I was like, okay, I gotta try Flintlock. I've been thinking about this game for a while. And then Path of the Goddess, I'm like, yeah, I gotta try this game. So I broke my rule just for these games, but yeah, I'm liking both of them. So far in terms of production, in terms of like where I'm gearing towards more, it's probably Path of the Goddess. Like, I could see myself playing that for a while because it reminds me of a mixture of different games. And art style it's like hard to, it's like what Pong was saying, it's like colorful,
it's moving art.
I said it to because my Izzy, my wife, was watching me play, and I was saying it looks like a kaleidoscope sort of thing, like your attacks. Like if you like your Y attack, I think if you look at the trail, it's just like a bunch of patterns and stuff. And I was looking
wait
at
till you
that,
go into photo mode.
Yeah, I want to check out photo mode because I was just slashing at nothing just to look at the dash and the sword. Sick, man. I'm really liking that game for sure. How far did you guys get? So did you beat the demo?
Well, no, because I was sold. So I got through the first gate and got to the camp and fooled around with upgrading and figuring out the upgrade system that they have, because you can upgrade a bunch of different things while you're in the camp and talking to like the princess and stuff. And how about the princess? 3-bit. I thought you would bring this up. How she doesn't walk, but she dances. She does traditional Eastern dance down the path, and then you have to strategize how far you want to move the path, because if you run out of time, it turns into nighttime. Like, I wasn't paying attention, and I thought I could get her to the gate, and I didn't get her to the gate. She stopped right like this much in front of the gate, and it became nighttime. So I couldn't move her. So the enemies are coming out of the gate. So I had to set up my defenses right at the gate. And if you get too close to the gate, like there's darkness that comes out. Some of the poison, some of the toxic, whatever evil starts coming out, and you can get killed if you sit in there too long. And so can your tower defense people. So if you set them up, but I had to set up this like ring around her to protect her because she was right in the open, right in front of the gate. Oh my God. I was so mad at myself. But it's so cool how she dances. She doesn't like normal walk. She does this whole traditional dance. It's beautiful. The music. Oh God, what a great Capcom just don't miss.
It's just original though, right? You know, like there's nothing else out there like that game.
No.
Which I super appreciate. I like, for Capcom, a publisher like that, to allow somebody to make this game. It doesn't happen all the time where these publishers are like, say, hey, yeah, that's a crazy idea, roll with it. You know, instead there's like all these focus groups and the people like, well, how are we going to monetize it? Or how are we going to do this? Or like, you know, is there enough of an audience for this kind of game? And, you know, like, instead it's like, hey, this is a cool idea. Like, you know, it looks like it's going to be interesting and it's original. Let's go with it and let's try it, you know? Let's take the Game Pass money up front, take a little bit of that insurance cash from Xbox as well. You know, like I think it's a good thing sometimes. And remember when people said that Game Pass was going to kill like originality and like diverseness in gaming, and
Oh,
we
it's
we made
definitely
this
encouraging it.
argument early on. It's like, no, it's gonna help the variety, because that's what it's about. It's about, giving that insurance to developers, where they don't have to rely on as much for the per sale for customers. Instead, it gives them an automatic audience to try these things, right? And it was like a gateway to allow this kind of diverse amount of games to come out. And look at these games from all different publishers, all different developers, day and date, hitting Game Pass all in the same week. Different kinds of games, and I don't see anybody out there being like, these games are just like copy and paste games. None of them are. They're all super original and different. And man, it's a really cool thing to see.
If it wasn't for Ace Attorney, or Yakuza, because I really got into Ace Attorney lately. I've never played it before or really cared for it. But because of Game Pass, I was like, you know what? Let me just try this game.
It's fun.
It's fun. Man. It's just ridiculous. It's cool. You're a lawyer. You look at someone's case, and then you question them in court. Objection. It's just fun. And without Game Pass, I don't think I would have ever played that game. It was free in a way. And then Yakuza, I dabbled in Yakuza before, but that's just another one of those games. I'm not sure how much I would have ended up loving that series if it wasn't for Game Pass. When they started dropping Kiwami 2 and stuff in there, and I was like, okay, let me actually play this game. And I beat Kiwami 2, and I'm like, ooh, I gotta find out the stories. And then look at the other ones, oh, the stories are not connected at all. They are their own contained sort of thing. And love Game Pass for that
Game
reason.
Pass introduces people to everything. That's the part. If you're somebody that's not locking themselves away from games because you think you only enjoy one type of game, you can find so many games, man. And that's the thing that we talk about. It's not just Game Pass, it's not just Xbox, it's all these smaller devs and these teams, and even the bigger ones like Capcom, that still do have original thoughts and allow original games to come out. Obviously, the indie and the AA scene pushes a lot of it nowadays because the big publishers need to be safe with their money. So it is crazy to see a Capcom trying something like this game. But it is awesome that we still get those. But Game Pass just allows people to try all this stuff and have an opportunity to see it. And Scorpio, yes, it is a blend of genres. So you've got a main character in Path of the Goddess that protects the princess as she moves towards the gate. But as you clean out the area, you find some of the townsfolk that have been they've been transformed by the evil, right? Into these plants or whatever else, and you free them. And when you free them, you can turn them into warriors, and they have different classes of those warriors that you can choose from, but those cost points too. And those points are also what you use to move the princess forward towards the gate. But then you set up those when it comes to nighttime and the gate opens up and the creatures start pouring forth. Then what you have to do is you get to place those townsfolk that you've released. You get to place them in different areas, and they act just like in a tower defense game when you set up a turret or whatever else. They will guard that one area. They have a circle of effect, and they will guard that area. So any creatures that come into that area, they will start attacking with you, but you can move freely during that time with the main sword, the character, the swordsman, and you can attack the enemies anywhere on the map. So it's a blend of genres, and it's well done. It's super dope.
Super dope. Satisfying. And to answer Chris really quick, who says, isn't 3-bit the one that looks at the sky in Halo while we play Halo?
Skyboxes.
Yes, that is me. But here's the thing. I almost have that approach in every game I play where I might not progress that day, where if I see something beautiful or whatever and I just venture off, that's why you'll probably never see a lot of completed games on my Game Pass or on my list, because I kind of just, I don't know, sometimes I get lost in a game I play, and I just I'm like, whoa, and I venture off what the traditional story is. But yes, while I should be focusing in the multiplayer match, some things are just beautiful in games, and I like to admire the artistry of it. But yes, yeah. That's the thing.
What about you, Fuzz? Any of these? I know you've been out of power for a couple days,
Yeah.
so
Really,
like, have you even had a chance to try any of these yet?
Unfortunately, no. But I did have them all preloaded because I was anticipating this week. Like this week was basically I was already trying to clear my backlog as much as I could. Make sure I can kind of squeeze these into the rotation. Like pretty much the first Ascendant kind of bumped the division that I revisited. It bumped it back out. Diablo's kind of on hold because I'm waiting to try these other games before I buy the expansion and whatnot. But yeah, Flintlock, just from the combat aspect of it, from when they showed it early on, and having like that Fox God kind of character that travels along with you and stuff like that. I've always wanted to give that one a try. That one was like, oh, day one it comes, I'm definitely getting ready to play it or going to play that one. Then the Path of the Goddess was just something that was just so different, and the overall look of it, and like you guys said, the detail of the enemies, just the movements of the characters, both the enemy characters as well as the princess and your sword guy, and all of those things combined, just looks like it's going to be eye candy, like visually for you while playing. Just the everything about it just appeals to me, and I'm not the biggest tower defense guy, but hey, I love slashers, and if you're slicing those enemies, I'm all for it. So that one I'm looking forward to as well. The Hindenburg one, that one, I'm not always the biggest, platformer type of guy, but like throwing puzzles and platforming at the same time, it's like a brain teaser for me sometimes. So looking forward to giving that one a try as well. Although I didn't get a chance to preload it because I thought that one was going to be a little bit further back, or like, maybe a next month type of release, but that one I forgot to put into the queue. So that means I also have to clear off some space on one of those expansion cards or something. But Flock was probably going to be my replacement for Still Wakes Deep, because I'm almost finished with that, and I definitely want to finish that before downloading any of the other smaller titles, to be my Game Pass daily, what do you call it, achievement point and in Game Pass 3 points on the Microsoft rewards, because I always save one of those where it's like, okay, I'll play this game, I'll get an achievement, get the 3 points for the Microsoft rewards, and then I'll put it on pause and then come back to it. So I always like having one of those where it's like, oh yeah, I'm earning money or earning rewards points to pay for Game Pass with one of those types of games. But just the fact of the variety of this week, like this week, not even like without even getting into the stuff that's not in Game Pass, like the NCAA 25 and stuff. This has got to be one of the better weeks in a long time, where it's not just a first party banger that's coming out. Like I love when Hellblade 2 came out, but there wasn't as many other titles surrounding around that time frame. This feels like almost like Christmas, almost like when we were talking earlier about 84, where all those movies were back to back to back type of thing, and they were all like blockbusters or classics in general. It's like you very rarely see this type of packed week where everything, even if it's all on one platform or on multiple platforms, whatever the case may be, this just feels like this is like leading up to Christmas kind of thing in a weird way without it actually being that. But it's like Christmas in July, I guess you could say, is about the best way to look at it. But looking forward to those. One of the games that I was looking forward to, although I don't think it was coming out right just yet, but it was coming soon, was that police game. I think that one got delayed a bit.
Delayed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been looking at that game, but yeah, I got delayed.
Bro, so sad. It's gonna come out in fall, Fuzzy. Probably right in the middle of everything, man. But I still want it,
dude. Like
I'll still make time for that one because that looked like
that's only
fun.
on PC,
like,
right? But that's
yeah.
That's a game I've been like tracking and like, okay, that looks fun as heck.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's coming to console as well. I'm not sure if it's going to be like a simultaneous release or it'll be like PC and then console shortly after. But
I think it might be coming the same time actually, because they were
really?
advertising
Okay.
it. Yeah, because PlayStation was advertised. I think I saw PlayStation posted a month ago or so.
Okay, my mistake.
Yeah,
I thought I only saw.
I'll double check, but I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be available on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC all at the same time.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Nice. I thought it was only on PC.
This was Yeah, this was definitely a great week of games. I didn't get a chance to play Concord. I was thinking about it, but I'll have to ask Pong since you played it at least an hour or so.
Yeah.
Like my complaint was some of the character variety. Like the main characters that they showed in the storyline were interesting looking. They look like the parts for like tank or healer type of things.
Yes, they do have.
And I remember the opposing team looked like it was just AI bots. Like the one lady was wearing like a blue trench coat or something like that, almost like a starter jacket, but like the full length one or something. And it's like, is that supposed to be a tank on the other team or something? Because it just seems like
No,
it was
they've got the
mismatched and-
tanks are like the big robot dude from the trailer, right? The big yellow trash can. And then the heavy, the super heavy armored lady that everybody's been posting because she ain't good looking. But so those are your like two tanks. They do have healing abilities. Some of the characters have healing abilities. Again, there's a good variety. It's a good mix. It's a classic setup for a hero shooter. So you've got all the stuff that you'd think would be in it. It's just all ultra generic. Like it just that it is. It's just it is what it is. I played about a dozen
I
matches
got that
now.
feeling in the trailer, like it just feels like it's soulless, like you were
Yes,
saying,
it
like
is. Yeah.
like someone just came up with different things, like
Like the CGI stories are cool 3-bit. Like some of the CGI is really good, and some of the writing is really good. Like how everybody said right away, this reminds me of Guardians of the Galaxy, right? There, like some of that is in there when you're watching the CGI, but you're playing a hero shooter, so it's not that game. Like if this was like an RPG, or if this was like an action-based game, like that you were set in space and you were going on missions and that kind of stuff, yes, it would probably work. Right? It would probably even be better than what this is. It might have some soul, but when you're just looking to play matches, like that stuff is in the background, it's noise, and it doesn't add. And again, you get to looking at the characters and playing with the characters, and you're like, you don't care. At least for me, I just didn't care.
No,
about any of the
I get that
characters.
feeling
It's
like
weird.
with a couple different games, like even Overwatch has some really cool stories, but it's in the background, right? So I was waiting for that story mission thing that they promised for years, and I don't think it happened.
But the characters when you play Overwatch are still kind of cool, right?
Yeah,
Like when
no,
you're playing
Overwatch,
them, everybody has their favorites, right? And everybody finds one that they kind of attach to. Like I tried, like I don't know, 8 of the characters, and they're just like none of like it's just boring. Like none of them have personality on the field. Like they yell out generic stuff and that kind of stuff. Like it's just nothing. Like there's nothing there. Like it's weird. It's empty.
That was my thing. Like though with that game too, and everybody's talking about, oh, it's gonna be original and like how they're doing storytelling with this kind of game is so different. It's gonna be like this like thing that's nobody's ever seen before. I'm like, yeah, not really. Like anytime there's a new season of like Apex, you get like this really cool story trailer. Call of Duty has like a really cool story trailer for every season. Like there's tons of games that are multiplayer games that are like shooters and stuff that have like these seasonal or like once every month or couple months they have like this really well done story thing and stuff, like, and it's like cool. And it's you watch it for like 3 minutes and then you're just playing the fucking same game you always play. Like so
it just doesn't make sense,
right?
It just it's whatever. What I was gonna say to Fuzzy too, though, to what Fuzzy was talking about, there's a chances that we're gonna have multiple of these kinds of weeks this year too, which is crazy, right? Because they've got a lot of smaller games lined up for Game Pass, along with their own first party dropping. We could have like legitimate like another 3-4 weeks where they line up like this, where we just have game after game dropping into Game Pass, and they're all great. It's going to be fun time this year.
I mean, we still got Gamescom, like with potential announcements there. There's a possibility of another Xbox show at that time. Like there's lots of stuff coming. And like we talk about, to kind of piggyback off of that, Pong, is like this year, I think really is setting that table, right, for people understanding what this is all about, right? Xbox has been in the news a lot for different reasons, all these other kind of things, but like, you know, they have shit tons of awesome games hitting Game Pass constantly, right? There's expanding their services out to numerous different places at the same time, giving people a lot more options, right? Without taking options away, right? They're still giving more options for access points to this library, expanding the amount of games hitting the library, plus also we're in this cadence now where we have a week like this. And if you look ahead towards the end of this year, if you count the big time releases that are in either in Game Pass day and date, first party games, or even the big third party games that just have Xbox marketing, like this year, like associated with Xbox for the rest of the way, all the way towards 2025, is just absolutely fucking stacked. And we really haven't seen this much from a first party condensed into this short period of time in a long time, especially from a company that's putting their games into subscription service. Like, so I think overall this is gonna continue to make an impact. There was some people in the news saying that like college football 25 has even had an impact on console hardware sales just because it's only on next gen hardware, right? So Series S's have been selling more. But you have a game like that, then you have all these Game Pass releases. You have the big games coming out: Indiana Jones, Avowed, right? Call of Duty. Like, what kind of impact is that going to actually have once it hits Game Pass later this year? There's a lot of excitement around this COD, and I think that just overall, like this whole. Remember the years we had to listen to the Xbox has no games, Xbox is blah, 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 blah. While now the second half of this year, the hopes of PlayStation is relying on Concord. While Xbox, we're eating all these fucking games, even ones that aren't first party like this week. All of these games, dude. Capcom, new IP, day and date.
Game of the year, Astrobot's coming.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be fun. I'm sure it'll be a fun game, right? But like, just
get the Keeleys.
I would try it if it was like free to play, and I'm sure a lot of people have that mentality. So I don't know why PlayStation just doesn't want to do that. But
shout out to Mash. Mash.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that real quick. Hey, attention, ladies and gentlemen aboard the Fun Speculation Hype Train. That's right. It's been a while since I made an announcement because I was a little lackluster earlier, but I had to get this one because the one and only Mash came on through, and thanks to him and the Spartan 661 who got on the court earlier with the easy 5 layup, the Mash came through with his easy tomahawk jam and got us up to Mach 3.5 tonight. That's right, Friday night. We are rolling along, so please check those 4-point harnesses. Strap them down tight. We don't want to lose you out a window right now. Things are just getting good around here, but you all are keeping us ad-free in 2024. Hashtag no beans. We ain't slanging no coffee around here. And your goal for the rest of the month, if you didn't join us on PM and the PM, you guys got all the way down to 5,900 last night. So right now, I'm going to give you some bonus. You're down to 5,700 right now. That's right. For the rest of the month, you guys can do it. I know it. The goal's in sight, everybody. Let's get there. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. Choo-choo. Choo-choo.
That's like a 90% bonus, bro. That's insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
I'm feeling good tonight.
Generous.
I'm feeling generous. Yes.
Yeah, this year's like absolutely gonna be crazy. Now, like, there's a lot of other things like the Nvidia news that just hit where they're sharing their library to Nvidia. I'm curious on that. I'm actually curious if anybody out there that's a Game Pass subscriber is actually considering, it's subscribing to GeForce Now to get that like 4080 experience when they're playing their PC Game Pass game. So in the comments below after the show or whatever in the chat, like if you have PC Game Pass subscription, if you want access to your Xbox games that you own, and you're considering doing GeForce Now for cloud gaming or whatever as another option, which is half off right now, I still believe. Let me know. I'm really curious about that. Also, shout out to Xbox Infinite and Risk It for the Biscuit hitting our channel with their viewers after their show ended. It's always a great show over there on Friday night before Xbox Ultimate. I appreciate you guys. So Masters, I don't understand the Nvidia news, what exactly happened. So what they did is Nvidia added Xbox games that you own and also on PC Game Pass to their library to pick from. like for their the way GeForce Now is like, okay, if you own the game or you have access to the game or whatever, if you have permission from the publishers, you can stream that game on a device that supports GeForce Now, right? And you're basically renting like a 480 PC if you get the top tier, 4080 Nvidia graphics card PC. Mm-hmm. So it's like a high-end top tier like PC
you get
experience.
Like a time limit.
Yeah, there's like for the top tier you get 8-hour sessions. 8 hours. Mm-hmm. Which that's
and Xbox also integrated it into when you go into the Xbox.com, right? And you pull up a game through Xbox.com, they integrate it so now it shows the option for xCloud or GeForce Now. They actually integrated that as well, so it's a quick click. Yep.
So I'm curious, like for people that are actually going to consider that
more options.
Yeah, it is more options, man. It's great. It's great options, you know. Like people got upset that they put a Game Pass on the Fire Sticks and stuff, and said no console required or whatever, and that's an Nvidia thing. People get upset about these things because, like, well, but they're console gamers. They're not. We don't feel special anymore, you know. Like it's stuff like that. For me, I'm just like, hey, give more people access to these games. The more people that have access to them, the more people that buy and play these games is better for all of us as gamers. Really, like the more money that Xbox is getting, it means more investment into different games. We should want all these games to do well, and if there's more players on them, that helps them, right? So expanding their library into other places for people to have access, for me, is a win. Plus, also it could make certain games healthier, in general. And if you're a fan of a certain kind of game, maybe there's potential of more players now for it or whatever, and that could potentially get you a sequel for that game that you like or whatever. So more access to games, and that's I think that's the future. Games are kind of everywhere, right? And just like usual, guess who's ahead of the ball game on innovation when it comes to a lot of these things? It's Xbox. So, but just like usual as well, whenever they're pushing these kind of things forward, there's a lot of kickback from traditionalists, right? And hey, I like the way the things are, right? I like the way the things have always been. Don't change things, right? People that want games to still be on cartridge and don't want to have to download updates at all, or like don't ever want to have to get a free-to-play game. They think it's completely destroyed the industry, or all these other kind of things. Or, you know, if you really think about it, you take all that away, what are we left with? We're all playing on the fucking Switch, right? We're playing those kind of games. Let's just be real. We're not getting games like Starfield. We're not getting games like any of these big games coming out this year. That's just not the size and the scope and ambition of these games and all that stuff is because of the technology and the way things have been pushing forward and the way that things are made these days. And I would hate if we lived in a world where there was only that other kind of option. We got Nintendo for that, right? If that's the world you want to live in, go for it, bro. But I've one thing will always kind of embrace pushing the technology forward to advance the either amount of players and also the kind of games that we can get. And I think that's ultimately what Microsoft is doing more than anything. And I think we're just kind of coming to grips with this now and starting to understand it. And things are kind of coming into focus. All these little moves that they keep making, all like the Nvidia thing, the Amazon Fire Stick, all these little moves is like, okay, this Xbox, remember the Xbox Everywhere thing that, you know, they were sending those emails out and all that kind of stuff, starting to come into a little bit of focus. Doesn't mean as a console gamer you're not going to get to play. Doesn't mean that as a console gamer you're not going to get new hardware. It just means that there's other people too. And you know what? If that means that they don't need to buy a console, Xbox is okay with that, but they're still going to make one for you. The other thing that people were concerned before as well is that, hey, well, if there's less consoles, people are going to stop making games for it. Well, what have we seen? This generation, there's actually less Xbox consoles being sold, right, than last generation. But we're seeing an increase in third-party publishers putting their games on Xbox and putting their games on Game Pass. So why would we be seeing that trend if the opposite were true? Like we just said, Capcom just has a brand new IP. Capcom. Second new IP they've actually launched into Game Pass. First one was Exo Primal, which they tried. That game didn't have it. I think it went the way of what Concord probably will. But just having these options, I think ultimately is going to be a good thing. But they did raise the price.
They did.
They did raise the price, and the FTC has an issue with it.
Yep.
They are not allowed to ever change their price for Game Pass or change the models, according to the FTC. So they are arguing with Microsoft about that, and Microsoft is going to give the fight back to the FTC. It's interesting, but ultimately, I think that FTC is wrong in this scenario. But also, it kind of sucks that Xbox took day and date away from Xbox standard Game Pass and all that kind of stuff. Also, but what do you guys like? Is there something going on in the chat?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. We're back to running trains.
That's an old one.
Yeah, that's
an oldie.
For you old listeners that understand that reference. I'm curious if there's anybody in the chat that actually understands that reference.
We got some OGs in the chat.
Yeah, maybe.
Sure. But no, I have the FTC's letter, and then Microsoft just responded like 20 minutes ago. If you want to hear both,
I saw there was a Microsoft response earlier.
Get to that later.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay. So first, this is what the FTC basically had a message out. This comes from Tom Warren, but this is from the FTC to the Court of Appeals. They basically said that Microsoft is discontinuing its $10.99 month console Game Pass product. Users of that product must pay 81% more to switch to Game Pass Ultimate. For consumers unwilling to pay 81% more, Microsoft is introducing a degraded product. Game Pass, this is what you kept seeing headlines on. Game Pass standard at $14.99 a month. This product costs 36% more than console Game Pass and withholds day one releases. Product degradation, removing the most valuable games from Microsoft's new service, combined with price increases for existing users, is exactly the sort of consumer harm from the merger that FTC has alleged. So that comes from the FTC. Microsoft responded today, July 19th. They said, Dear Ms. Dwyer, the FTC letter presents a misleading extra record account of the facts and is a continuation of the agency's attempts to reinvent its case on appeal. Earlier this month, Microsoft announced changes to its gaming subscription service, Game Pass, to provide consumers valuable options at different price points. Microsoft is offering a new service tier, Game Pass Standard, which offers access to hundreds of back catalog games and multiplayer functionality at $14.99 a month. It is wrong to call this a degraded version of the discontinued Game Pass for console offering. That discontinued product did not offer multiplayer functionality, which had to be purchased separately for an additional $9 a month, making the total cost $20.98 every month. Well, Game Pass Ultimate prices will increase from $16.99 to $19.99. The service will offer more value through many new games available day and date. Among them is the upcoming release of Call of Duty, which has never been available on a subscription day and date. The FTC barely mentions subscription at trial, instead focusing on the theory that Microsoft would withhold Call of Duty from Sony's console. That was true. The district court correctly rejected that theory, which is now further eroded by Microsoft and Sony's 10-year agreement to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, a contract Sony was thrilled to enter. While the FTC has now tried to shift focus to its alleged subscription market, its letter does not map onto its arguments below. Setting aside that is common for business to change service offerings over time. The FTC case in all of its alleged markets has always been premised on vertical foreclosure, that Microsoft would withhold Call of Duty from rivals and therefore harm competition. But even in its alleged subscription market, Call of Duty is not being withheld from anyone who wants it. Yeah, that's pretty much their letter.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, like, FTC would have to, like, prove that, like, no subscription models ever go up or change or anything like that on a regular basis, and, like, that's obviously not the
The
case.
FTC was really dumb in that case, in my opinion, because even we were saying it when that whole case was going on. They were focusing too much on just Call of Duty instead of other things.
Well, it's because that's the bullshit that they were buying from PlayStation. It was the only thing they were trying to cling on to. And that was like Jim Ryan at the time, being like, oh, they're going to take Call of Duty away from us. Oh, my God. And stuff. And the FTC's like, oh, yeah. Let's get some more of that bullshit. Right? And it turns out that, everybody saw it for what it was, except for the FTC themselves, including all the other jurisdictions of the world, pretty much, like, erase that from their discussion point, right?
Now, if they did something like, if they mentioned in the case, which they didn't, where like, oh, this is going to lead to more price hikes for Game Pass and stuff, they might have a case or might have something, but they haven't, because they were so focused on Call of Duty and its harm. And Microsoft would be like, well, we're offering Call of Duty, so this case is like easy. But it is what it is. But
I think they're just trying to reach to try and salvage some kind of thing here,
It's like a waste. It is honestly. I was mentioning in the DMs, because like the FTC's case against this, like, I understand it. I actually said in DMs, because Boom was talking about it. And I was saying, like, well, shoot, like, if it leads to me having a cheaper service, I will never be against that. So in that case, I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Go after Microsoft. Make my service as cheap as possible, because I'm a consumer. That's what I care about, right? But they really don't have a case. Especially they could have brought a lot of this stuff up in the actual trial. Even if it's hard to prove, especially where they are in the market, it wouldn't have mattered anyways.
Well,
like,
yeah,
you're not allowed to increase your subscription price. Like,
last year, Nintendo added a new offering and changed their pricing.
Sony increased theirs.
Sony went up and didn't change shit, right? Except for the price.
They're like, oh, it's for premium. It's for premium stuff in the future,
right.
And now they have like nothing. So.
Yeah, so like ultimately, like, there's just I think it's going to turn into a big nothing burger. But I like, in general, like, that mentality from the FTC, I'm more okay with, like, them going after, hey, like, protect pricing for consumers after, like, these companies are consolidating. Hey,
it was the first time I was looking at the FTC. I'm like, okay,
they got to do it for all the others too, not just Microsoft, right? Like, what about all these other subscription services? Or if you really want to go there, hey, how about the cable companies and the internet companies and all this stuff that have like exclusive rights to entire cities and towns and shit? Y'all remember when Jasper was telling us that the same company has his electricity, his water, his gas, his like internet, like everything is like forced to be the same company? What about like them start focusing on shit like that, and like the price increases that go on when people don't even have fucking consumer options, right? Like, spend your time where it actually matters and protects people the most, and not focus on Microsoft because there's big tech. They're wasting their fucking time and taxpayers' money when there's better battles to fight. That's my problem with them. And like, you're going over and trying to say, hey, it's a fucking gaming subscription, right? Like, at the end of the day, us as consumers, like, hey, it sucks. It took day and date games away from standard Game Pass. It sucks that they went up on the price, right? We foresaw a price increase coming for years on Game Pass, and ever since it was announced, because like, holy shit, it's too good to be true, right? Eventually, now it's catching up. You know, we foresaw this, especially after all the acquisitions and stuff. No, I don't think anybody's too crazy upset over the $3 ultimate price increase. I think more so it's about the change of the model for the standard Game Pass. But God, there's so many bigger battles and better battles for them to fight on behalf of consumers. They just don't want to pick the fights with those because guess what? They're,
It seems throughout this whole case
going on.
they've been very much on Sony's side. Like they literally would take what Sony would say almost word verbatim, and the lawyers would use that as their arguments in court. Like it was such an easy case for Microsoft, but throughout this entire case, FTC has been really just targeting Microsoft at this point because they are big tech. And it's just like, it's just a waste of tax-paying dollars. That's all it is at this point. Like I do want them to go after things that do matter. Like you were saying, like like my entire when I lived in Savannah, the entire town had to use Xfinity.
Yeah.
For example,
I only have one
there's
internet
no other
option in my neighborhood. There's no other option for me. I have to have Spectrum.
So if there's a price increase, okay, there's nothing you can do, right? There's no other option to go to, and that leads to actual harm. I don't know. It's weird how selective I feel like they can be, but I'm not like with the FTC in this case. Like I was like, okay, cool, go after Microsoft. Like for a price increase, it's not gonna lead anywhere. I hope it does lead somewhere because hey, cheap for me. I'm a consumer. I want cheap, as cheap as possible. I'm gaming on a budget. I'm on Game Pass, which saves me a lot of money, but it's still an amazing value. It's still the best value for me personally. But goodness, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I have a slightly different look at it, but what I'm looking at is Microsoft didn't push back on that pricing thing that the FTC threw out in court at the time when they were going back and forth. Now, having this come up, it's not going to cause them to break up ABK. But what I do envision happening is a settlement. And it will more than likely result in us either getting 2, 3, or maybe even as much as 6 months free Game Pass or whatever tier. If you were subscribed since 2022 or something like that, they'll probably look at it and be like, hey, all of those, because of the price hike, will get some sort of, compensation or rollback or something to that effect. So I think there is some merit in it. I could care less either way, to be honest, because I haven't actually paid dollars for Game Pass in a while. I've been using Microsoft Rewards points for like almost ever since it's been in action. But I think the FTC has something there where they can use this to at least, twist the arm of Microsoft, and they'll get a W for the consumer in this, in getting them to settle to do some sort of, rebate or offering of like a couple of free months or something.
Well, they would have to prove a couple things, because this, to my understanding, relates to the case that they brought up to the judge. And the case, because that's what they were both referencing. Like they have like the case references at the top where it's like, oh, we talked about this in our case, and it has like the number, and then you can go to the actual case. And to my understanding, I don't know how much they talked about potential like price hikes for subscriptions. But they would have to prove that a couple things. I guess they would have to prove that ABK
was the cause
of the price hike, because they could do whatever they want.
Well, when
service.
That's one thing I noticed when like Xbox's response when you're reading it back, they were like, plus we have Call of Duty for the first time ever, like this adds value. So like if the FTC wanted to, in my mind, they could like twist that. Well, you said that adds value, and therefore you're increasing the price, therefore consumer harm. Like they could use that as like, well, without Call of Duty in there, would the price have been the same, right? So like in that situation, like the response from Microsoft was like interesting. You know, I don't know
So if
the
you were the
ramifications
FTC,
either way, but like that line is like you don't excuse a price increase because of Call of Duty being in a Game Pass. When
right?
the FTC was saying
Well,
that
they were just
Call
saying
of
that it
Duty,
wasn't available before in a day one
right, but
scenario.
that's only because they own ABK, and the FTC could say, well, that's because of the acquisition. Then because you have control over Call of Duty and you're putting it in Game Pass, right? So if they didn't put Call of Duty in Game Pass, which is Microsoft's decision, they would say, well, then you could keep the same price and the consumer options would have still been the same.
Do you think they'll just say like, oh, we're technically not putting in Game Pass, Ubisoft is, or something like that? Do you think they'll just argue that, or no?
Because
they still have
Activision.
No, don't they have to?
Oh, for the streaming stuff, but that's a separate thing. That's not
just
as much
for
for
the
the
streaming.
FTC.
Yeah.
That's more CMA, or not? Was it CMA or the EU?
I
think
don't
that
even
that whole
know.
Deal.
Like, that's the fucking whole
No, but
cloud thing.
I think from the FTC standpoint, all they're going to do is probably get us, the consumer, a little kickback. They won't be able to get any further than that. They won't be able to break this up. They won't be able to cause them to remove it from Game Pass or anything like that. If it push comes to shove, Microsoft's best response will just be like, okay, we'll look back. Anybody that was subscribed from this time to this time, we'll roll back the price, or we'll give X amount of months for free to counter that price hike. Because in from the original argument from the FTC about pricing in particular, the whole thing that would have made that a non-starter for them in court is if Microsoft added Call of Duty and there was no price hike from the time of acquisition to at least a year after. Like they should have waited until like an anniversary date to at least before they do that pricing, because then they could say, well, we didn't do a price hike because of ABK. We didn't do a price hike because of Call of Duty. We're doing a price adjustment because of cost of living or cost of operations or cost of things versus inflation. So they would have had, Microsoft would have had a much better leg to stand on in comparison. Like it is tricky when you try to hold a company to a pricing thing, but if pricing is brought up during that merger when it was contested, that's where the FTC has a little leg to stand on. But once again, it's nothing that would cause any undoing of the deal. It would just be, okay, give everybody a rebate or give everybody a bit of a grievance and move on. And then that's the end of that. I don't think the FTC can really do anything further. Like the one lawyer recused themselves. The way administration stuff is looking, Lena Khan her days are probably numbered. So I think this is the best hope that they can get of any type of W. And like I said, that W is just basically Microsoft just bending the knee just slightly and saying, okay, everybody gets 3 months for free or however many months, and everybody walks away happy for the most part. But outside of that, the FTC, if they had this energy from jump for everything out there in the world, like the power companies, like the cable companies, like our cell phone plans and things like that.
Insurance companies, man.
Good God. I mean, like whether it's home or car, auto, any of that stuff. Like if they had that same type of energy, it would be a different conversation. And I think we as consumers would all be happy that they're going after, whether it's big tech or big insurance or big pharma or whoever. But we all know that those companies have lobbyists that have the political officials that appoint these people in these positions. They're in the pockets of those lobbyists. So it's I always call it a dog and pony show. It makes for good entertainment. It looks like something's getting done when absolutely nothing's really getting done, or the appearance of things getting done at the cost of taxpayer dollars going to this show for
Yeah.
better terms of it. But yeah, if they were to reevaluate like insurance, where you know somebody hits in Pennsylvania, just real quick, if somebody hits you and they are underinsured, it's up to you to use. Well, you can try and sue them and waste your money, because if they have the state minimum, it is what it is. You're not going to get anything more. If you have better coverage, you can actually then take some of your supplemental for underinsured or uninsured and acquire that. But the minute you do that, your rates go up because of the other knucklehead that didn't have the proper insurance to kind of cover beyond, very minor scrapes and bumps or whatever kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
or it could be like you live in an area or in the state where supposedly the driver rating score, as far as like accidents per capita or whatever, goes up slightly, even though you don't have any record for 20 years of having an accident or any speeding tickets or anything like that. Your insurance still goes up because reasons type of thing. And it's not matched with inflation. It's not matched with anything other than, well, everybody in Pennsylvania is now rated at a 6 as opposed to a 5. So we're raising your annual, $600. Like,
Mhm.
out of here. What are you talking about? Like, why am I paying more? Because every other driver that I might not even be around, it sucks at driving or something. It's like
Yeah.
there's just so many little
Dude, I
things. And
could
like you
have
guys
a
said,
4-hour show just talking about insurance and like the crazy shit, and like in my industry, like it's a common thing with homeowners insurance that we battle against constantly, right? And it just like the stories you hear and see and stuff is it's just ridiculous. Like my point is, it's like ultimately, like FTC is going after fucking a gaming subscription service for $2 increase instead of fucking really big actual issues out there that like they're just we're not gonna be able to accomplish it. So, why even try? It's just wait. It just drives me crazy. Anyway, Pong, you have any final thoughts on this whole shenanigans thing?
I lean to con. So like I said last night, Microsoft gave her an opening because of what they said in court. She's gonna, whether it's legit or not, like I said, moth to a flame last night. That's what she's gonna find. She saw the opening, and it's gonna be up to Microsoft to prove, or it's gonna be up to the FTC to prove that it was all because of ABK and because of Call of Duty going to Game Pass. That's a tough sell.
Yeah,
because they got to have actual proof that happened. We talked about this prior to all of this stuff. If they ever did this, like there's so many different ways that Microsoft and Xbox could explain price increases. It is bad timing, bad optics from Microsoft and Xbox, how they did this right after they announced Call of Duty's going to Game Pass, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And they probably legitimately are increasing the price due to the ABK deal, right? That's
It
probably
has to.
legit. Yeah, I mean that's probably a legit deal. But they're gonna have tough sledding proving it. And Microsoft really at this point, depending on how November goes, they could ride this out. And if the election goes a certain way in November, there's gonna be massive changes at the FTC. And Microsoft and Xbox might not have anything to worry about anymore.
What do you think Xbox would actually consider getting another publisher if in that case? Like,
yes. Oh yes. If it slides one way and regulations and the FTC get stripped back, because again, right now, like you guys have pointed out, they go after very few good things and go after a lot of nonsense.
Yeah.
And they've actually
they look for wins against big companies. Right?
That's the whole thing. Like they're trying to stagnate a lot. Again, yes, you have to look at certain things. Yes, there are certainly situations that warrant the monopoly label that have to be stopped. But what they've done is stagnate tons of industries where smaller companies are trying to get ahead by acquiring other companies, and they can't fight the FTC because they don't have the money. And so the FTC is stagnating a lot of this. So yes, if the election goes one way, and as everybody believes, the FTC will be stripped of their power, or at least moved back to what they originally were and regulations come down, I absolutely do think that Microsoft will move forward on more acquisitions. I think acquisition season will be definitely back in play at that point. Again,
It's
the
crazy
EU
how
is
much
another problem.
politics even affects
The
everything like
EU is a
this,
problem though, because the EU
Yeah,
is
yeah.
not moving in that direction. The EU is actually getting worse, right? So the EU is always going to be a problem. So they're going to have to consider that. But I definitely think this case specifically, I think they can just they can play the time waiting game to see what happens, and for the elections, and then try to
Yeah, I don't
slow
keep
walk
up with
this.
world politics either. So like for me, the EU was like they were pretty easy for Microsoft this past acquisition, but
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
easy. But you see them coming after Microsoft again.
Yeah,
now.
it was
CMA.
the
They are looking at
CMA and the FTC, right? The CMA backed
Every
off
other
before
one approved it. Every other agency.
Yes.
It was CMA and FTC.
I'm not advocating for it. I'm not saying hey they should or whatever. I'm just curious. Like I think Microsoft's probably interested in it, going forward. Like, for one reason, it would just be to keep other publishers from acquiring those and keeping them away from putting their games on their services. So, like that's the way the industry's going. That's kind of what's happened in other media, right? And that's where video game industry is going. The thing that's different about gaming is like you have access for small companies to have reach the same amount of players.
Correct.
Right. So
Xbox is trying to increase that ability as well.
Yes.
And again, they are trying to lay the groundwork with a lot of this stuff to be the good guys of the industry, whether or not the governments believe that they are. They're trying to lay the groundwork to show that they don't have the intentions of wiping everybody off the face of the planet gaming wise and just take over and become,
it's impossible in gaming.
Eye of Sauron. I mean, they're not trying to do that. Yeah. Right. They are trying to expand gaming, but they're trying to expand the entire industry. And they want to be a safe spot where they can go make purchases, acquisitions, and the governments look at them and say, oh, well, look at what they're doing. They're sharing the wealth with everybody. Like they're doing all this. Like that's what they eventually want to become, I legit think. So we'll see. We'll see if it works. But yeah, the election will definitely have some impact.
Yeah. Yep. Interesting. God Emperor Sofa King member for 13 months just now said Microsoft should buy Take-Two if GTA 6 flops.
It's not gonna flop. It's not gonna flop.
If GTA 6 flops, 2K is going to be in the tank, bro. Yeah. Like if it legit, I'm starting to believe the $500 million to $1 billion game. I'm starting to at this point. I'm starting to believe just time wise and what they're talking about doing with this game. I'm starting to believe those rumors. I passed those off and I was like, "There's no way they're doing." With marketing and everything else, this might be the first $1 billion game.
Yeah. Probably, man.
Crazy.
I don't think it flops, but I don't think it does as well as 5. Like,
I mean, 5 took a while,
and I don't think this is an $80 game or $100 game. I think they changed the game and go subscription. Like, wow. I think this is the first console game that really pushes that everybody wants, but nobody really wants to go the WoW subscription route. I think they try it, and I think the other thing that kills it is that it's not single player story based as much. I think it's more of like the side missions that you get to play online currently, like in 5, mixed into a persistent world. It's almost like the way Forza Horizon is now. Like it's open world, but it's like you can see other players, but you don't necessarily have to interact with them unless you choose to. I think that's way GTA will be to some extent. It's some side mission stuff mixed in, more like the online stuff now. And instead of it doing, I think, what are they at now? Like 170 million copies sold or something like that. I think it reaches close to 100 million, but I don't think it goes much beyond 100, let's say 110 million. It won't flop. It's just that it won't be as big as 5 was.
200
that's
million.
My thoughts on it.
200 million is how much GTA 5. So, and the thing is, like, if you think about GTA 5, it came out at a time where originally it was on the 360, and then people was changing to the generation to the Xbox One and the PS4. So a lot of people did buy multiple copies from that generation, and then it wasn't on PC. That was a big like launch for people. Like, wow, GTA is finally on PC. So a lot of millions of people went on PC version, and then on top of all that, like where I feel like it keeps getting reoccurring revenue is the online, right? GTA Online. They have heavily invested online where they start canceling the story DLC that GTA 5 was supposed to have. They're like, no, we're just gonna do all in online. So I'm pretty sure with GTA 6 their plan is similar. Like that online part of GTA 6 is where they are probably banking on making a lot of their money, and a lot of the industry is moving out the way because they know GTA 6 is going to be insane, and that's what people are going to play when that
Oh
game
yeah, it's
comes
gonna
out.
be it's
There's-
gonna sell like fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, I don't know how long GTA 5 took to get to 200 million copies sold.
I didn't even heard the 200 yet. The last I heard was like
This was
140
made,
or
according
50
to
or something.
IGN, 200 million copies sold in its lifetime.
Yeah.
This was May 16th, 2024. So it could be more.
Yeah,
Um,
that game's just a juggernaut, you know. And they keep coming out with cool content and fun things to do and play and stuff. Kate just reinstalled it. Has been playing it the last 2 days or so. Because they had some new bounties and stuff like that after she finished playing Duke Nukem.
Before I
it says
forget,
that-
Mav,
Yeah.
before I forget again, because I did forget because we were talking, but during our movie section there in
Yeah.
the beginning, Kate said she had never seen Purple Rain before.
Yeah.
Purple
You need to fix
Rain,
that.
Purple
You need to-
Rain.
I'll put it on the list. Right now we're going through the Terminator Marathon.
I know. I'm just saying you got to have it on the list.
Okay.
I mean, it's way outside the whole action thing that you guys got going on
Mhm.
right now. Like it's okay.
Yeah.
But it is a movie that you must see. It is a movie that she must see.
Yeah.
Definitely,
I
I
agree.
know. I tried not to give IGN a click, but it was the first thing that popped up. Right. I tried to avoid it, but looking at another article, it says that GTA 5 would sell 5 million copies every month, every 3 months.
Mhm.
5 million copies. It's ridiculous, man. That
It is.
there's not a lot of games that could do that. It's Call of
There's none.
Duty, Minecraft, maybe.
No, Call of Duty doesn't even do that.
Yeah,
It's insane.
Call of Duty's like maybe
Grand
20
Theft Auto was
to
yeah,
30
I'm
million
curious
per
if-
iteration.
I'm curious over the same amount of time though, like from GTA since GTA 5's launch, how
Mhm.
many copies of new Call of Duty games have sold?
Mm.
You know, like how many just copies of Call of Duty games? But the difference is there's a lot more development costs going in there, right? Because you have have to make a fucking whole new game every year, right? Whereas like GTA has kept the same game going and they've expanded upon it and all that kind of stuff. So cost wise would be more for Call of Duty, but I'm curious about the total accumulated sales for COD over the course of that same amount of time.
Okay.
I don't
let's
think
stick
there's a
with-
COD that's been under 10 million units
No.
in
It's like in the
past 13 years.
20s usually, I think.
Yeah.
How much does it cost to make Call of Duty each year? That's an interesting.
A lot, because like all the fucking studios have been working on it, bro. Like
Yeah.
talk about
So
75%
as of-
Activision.
Yeah.
as of let's check this out. So as of 2020, no, that can't be sales though. That's just number of players. That's not.
Yeah, because you can't count Warzone into it because it's free to play.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be like, what year did GTA 5 come out? Was it 2013?
2013.
So it's
Okay,
been 11. There's been 10 games come out in that same time span for Call of Duty. So we
Right,
would
so
have to
they're
look up each
probably-
one.
they're- If it's 10 games, they average 20. They average 20 plus a year.
So let's say
so they
like
would be over
21
200
million. Just
Yeah, they average 20 plus.
Yeah.
They've been on pretty consistent with that.
right, but they're also getting more for those sales because generally the
Right.
like GTA is like $20 now, I think, or is it if GTA 5's it? I know when they came out with the Series XS version, they sold it for $20 for a while. Maybe they went up after that. I'm not sure how much it is now.
I think it's back to 30 or something like that.
But
maybe it's
that may have
40.
been like a promotional price because of the upgrade, you know.
Right now, it's on the Xbox store. I don't know. It's not showing me because I already own it. Like $20 maybe.
Yeah. How much is like nobody can look because everybody owns the fucking game. Like,
Yeah.
you have to look it up on Google.
Yeah, on Google it says
Yeah.
like $20.
Okay, GTA 5 price.
So
Yeah, I
so
can't even look for the ad.
GTA as of 2020. Okay, so as of 2023, let's see if I got a newer one here. Okay, so as of 2024, the
Mhm.
Grand Theft Auto franchise broke 9.1 billion in revenue. Call of Duty's broken 30 billion over its lifetime. So
Oh.
but again,
its
you're
lifetime.
talking about more years, right? But you can imagine that they're probably very close to each other for that same amount.
Say that number, those numbers again. Sorry.
So Grand Theft Auto, the franchise, broke 9.1 billion in revenue,
Okay.
right, in 2024.
Mhm.
So, and then Call of Duty's lifetime is 30 billion.
Right.
So, and
What's
obviously the
considered
first Grand
lifetime,
Theft
like
Auto.
from the very first Call of Duty to now?
Let me see here. So no,
Or is
it
it-
breaks. Okay, never mind. I only read part of the headline. So Grand Theft Auto franchise breaks 9.1 billion revenue since GTA 5's release. So in 10 years,
Okay.
it made 9.1 billion in revenue, right?
Okay.
Call of Duty was 30 billion over its lifetime. But what I'm saying is if you wipe out the previous all those years that, you know, obviously we're not counting because we're talking from GTA 5, it's got to be close to the same.
Yeah.
Like Call of Duty probably makes about the same. But like you said, Mav, that doesn't include producing a new game every fucking year. Whereas
Right. Yeah. I
they
think the
produced
cost.
one game. Yes, they've added to the game. Obviously, online has become its own thing and they've been adding to it nonstop, but that's not the same as producing a whole entire new game every single freaking year. Like it is different. And remarketing it every single freaking year like Call of Duty does, right? So you got to think that overall profit wise, GTA 5 has got to be ahead of Call of Duty.
Yeah, because they made the game. Now they're
Yes.
just. I mean, they are
Updating it.
putting stuff into GT Online and stuff. To be
Yes.
fair, but
Yes, they're updating it and they're making
but
stuff.
it's not a whole new game.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
right.
like Call of Duty is with every single Call of Duty every year too, right? So like that's
Right.
also
But they have
ongoing
to
cost.
remarket
Yeah.
every year too.
Yes.
Whereas GTA 5 is its own marketing beast. They don't have to market shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very unique game. Like just
It's a
in
unique
general.
one, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that and it to your point, like GTA 6 can't it capture the magic of GTA 5? I mean, it's gonna sell like crazy. It's gonna sell like fucking bananas.
It's good.
Like
It's
at,
all the
out
records.
the gate.
All the
Yeah.
records are going to be blown out of the water.
But longevity wise, will it have the same lifespan and legs
Got
and
nothing to do with it.
everything? Yeah, depends. 100%.
They're banking on it, so I feel
I
like
mean-
they are in. They are in.
Fuzzy has a
So-
good point too, and things have changed as well. And let's say they screw it up. Let's say it's not what everybody thinks it's going to be out the gate. Well, back in 2013, and then obviously when they introduced online, right? They had much more forgiveness back then.
Yeah.
But we are in a different state. People have thousands of other games to go play. Right. So to Fuzzy's point, it will still sell like hotcakes. Again, I'm not here saying it's going to flop. It's going to sell a ridiculous amount. But longevity wise, right? If they screw it up, could they cap themselves more than they did with GTA 5? Because GTA 5 was a phenomenon for what it became. But they could mess it up a little bit where they don't see those same amount of long term fever for GTA like they did with GTA 5. GTA 5 could be a once in a lifetime deal for 2K. But I think that monetarily, Fuzzy, to all the discussions we've had going all the way back a couple years ago when we were speculating on this and you had thoughts on it, Strauss is going to push the boundaries with GTA 6. He's going to push things. And whether it is a full single player experience along with the online, or like you said, they try to blend those two together and it's not actually a full single player game or whatever, I do believe he's going to push the price point along with adding all the stuff that they missed out on from GTA 5 online that people themselves created. They're going to monetize all of those different modes, all of those little different unique things that people came up with on their own in that world. They're going to have all of that lined up and ready to rock and roll. And they're going to roll out the official stuff and they're going to monetize the hell out of it.
They hired a lot of the team that worked on the PC stuff.
Yes.
They bought. I thought they bought all of that code too.
They probably did. 5M, I think it was.
Yeah.
So they are expecting like a lot of the features that was only on the PC version, where people wanted to role play as a cop or a robber, or you can actually go to prison and you can spend time in prison and you're working out and stuff that's not in the console version. I bet you all those little features are in GTA 6.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm looking for.
Once you have to go to court and you have to pay real money to get
hire Ace Attorney to fucking like come.
Objection.
Dude.
No, but like Fuzzy's original idea that with the NFTs and stuff, when those were all the hot rage, they could still implement something where you can buy real property within that world and own it. Like,
shoot, man.
That could be a thing, man.
Oh,
you have to pay insurance within GTA 5 to keep your vehicles in your house.
If I could make real money from the investment, let's go. You know,
Kate's pay someone like guard your house while you're gone.
Like $12 million in GTA 5 online right now. I wonder if we could like convert that to like, I'll take 10%. You know, 10% conversion rate. Sounds fair. You know, just convert that to real dollars. You know.
If I was them, Mav, I would somehow link GTA Online from 5 in a way to 6. Because there's a lot of people still on 5. It's probably going to stay on 5. Something where it's kind of universal that promotes 5 people to 6 somehow. I don't know how they're going to do it, but it might not be too far off. I don't know.
Yeah. Take your favorite one of your favorite cars, an equivalent style property, and then that will transfer over and be like, oh, that lowrider that you spent $500,000 on, you can get the transfer that over to 6. That condo in the high rise, we'll get you another condo in the high rise in the new one, and then you got to start all over. But at least you get something as like your starting capital kind of thing.
Yeah, and I say that because if you guys remember when GTA 5 first came out to now, like the launcher has basically become like this sort of. It reminds me of the Warzone app where everything is like now in its launcher, like you can the online section is now in the menus and it's kind of like separated, and but I have a feeling they're gonna want to integrate 5 to people to 6. And Punty says in the chat, it's like that stuff is not in the console version. You're right, I don't remember that part. Yeah, the PC version of GTA 5 has a lot of stuff that is not in the console version. Like it's actually kind of crazy, but that's because those people modded it in, and some people made it official on a lot of the servers. So Rockstar hired those people for GTA 6, and they bought that tech that was in the PC version. So I'm just expecting GTA 6 to go crazy.
If they bring out the PC version at the same time too, though.
Which they're not, but
I don't think they are either. Steel still thinks they are, and to Steel's point, they'd be now that GTA 5 Online has been around this long and has taken off on the PC, bro. For them to not launch day and date on PC is gonna be not that.
But they want people to double dip, Pong. Like they're assuring that. Yeah,
and I understand that part of it. That's why I do still think that it's not going to happen. I'm on the side that it's not happening, right? That they're not going to do it. But my God, man, like how can you look at that and go, yeah, we're not going to put it there, Dave? Like that's crazy to me. Yeah. But you're right. Again, as I've said, it's the unicorn. It's the one game where Strauss and that team can do whatever the hell they please, well beyond any other game ever created, and push limits, and people will put up with it. Like it's gonna be weird to see what
you're like $90. I would not be surprised.
I've said I wouldn't. I said I would not doubt the base game with some bonuses and with early access will be $100.
Yeah. I could see that happening, and it's a one game where I might be. Can you
imagine what people would pay for 7 days early access or 5 days early access? Can you imagine what people would pay?
Oh yeah, they pay.
Ooh, don't give them ideas, Punk, please.
Bro, I don't have to. Strauss has already done all this shit. Strauss ain't no dummy when it comes to money.
We can charge them by the minute.
Well, didn't they reference something along those lines or
He
something like
did.
that?
Yeah.
It wasn't the exact words, but it was something
Yeah.
he had hinted to, like the value versus time or something.
Mm-hmm. That longer
But
games should be more.
Gosh.
I joked with Black Viking about this, where imagine it's free to play, but then you're only like a street person, a homeless person in the game,
Oh.
and you do the subscription, almost like that VIP thing that they have online, and that gets you a starter house, starter car, and based on your monthly subscription, helps your income as well as
Man, you make it. You sounded like NBA 2K right now. The my park mode. You start off as like you can pretty much have nothing except your brown sweats and brown shirt. You're like you're
that's
a
what I'm still
homeless
wearing.
guy. You're like a 60 or overall, and nobody will pick you for their team. You go to the park. You're like blah blah blah. Hey. But if you spend some money or you're this, you get automatically this. You can automatically upgrade your guy to an 80-something. You get some nice swag, get some clothes. All of a sudden, you look more legitimate. 2K already does this. All sports games really kind of do, but especially 2K with the My Park mode. It's like it's like most 2K gamers that play online, they are just have it as a given. They are getting currency to start with, or they have to get the ultimate version.
Don't think that they haven't seen that, Mav. That's all
100%.
That's all goes into testing and what they could get away with and what people are willing to do, how many whales they have, how consistently for years, because they've had My Park now for how long? It's been like what,
it's like 2017 or 16 or so.
So even longer than
maybe.
that. Yeah. So they've been testing this all this time while GTA 5 has just been kicking ass. Again, to your guys' points, yes, that kind of shit could happen, Fuzz. You are absolutely correct. 2K knows what they can get. That's NBA. That's
these companies get away with everything in sports games, and nobody says a damn thing.
And the GTA is on a different level.
Yep.
Like beyond.
Yeah, this is the game where they can basically rob you. they will rob you for they'll rob you for real.
I may legit be like the 1%. If it's not on PC day one and it doesn't run 60 on console, I won't buy this day. What? I'll be 1%.
Tom Henderson said something about PS5 Pro possibly happening.
Yeah, we read it last night. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't see that show.
No, that's okay. No.
What were your thoughts on PS5 Pro possibly coming, with the exception of GTA 6? Like, because the thing is like, oh, people want to get the PS5 Pro. I don't think it's going to push GTA that much further in performance, in my opinion. But
no, but Sony's going to sell the hell out of it if there is a Pro version, which there's most likely going to be. They're going to go for the certification for the Pro labeling. And Sony will push the hell out of it as the best experience, whether it's just haptics. Like, they will just push the hell out of it, right? And again, for a large group of people, that's all they care about. Oh, I'm playing the best version of GTA. All the rest of you are peasants, right? That's the way. There's a large group of people that think that. But yeah, Mav and I had the discussion about the Pro because it is in a weird spot with their lineup and stuff, and what are they going to have? But I'm still expecting to come out this year. Like Tom Henderson said that, it's going to come out this year. He still is hearing that. The devs have it. For all the people who still don't believe it's real, the devs actually have the kits. Like, this is coming. Like, whether or not it's a huge success or not is a different question, but it is going to happen.
We'll have for Ubisoft games. There'll be Star Wars Outlaws will hit this year. You're going to have Assassin's Creed Shadows. Then you're going to have this year as well.
Third parties can push it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what other big third-party games. Yeah, Call of Duty. What if Call of Duty actually
is the biggest one for the Pro?
Interesting enough,
Right, we talked about it too beforehand, but I think the more interesting discussion that Mav and I had last night about this Pro 3-bit was and Fuzzy, because you guys weren't there, but was the fact that if this college football 2025 story is legit and Xbox has seen exponential growth in Series S sales over the past week just because of college football 25. What would a GT, because Call of Duty again is going to be cross-gen. Like I said last night, Call of Duty would be the other game that would make people switch from the PS4 and the
GTA
Xbox One.
bundle.
GTA bundle, bro. Like I said, if I was Xbox right? And I was legit still considering my console sales. And I saw what College Football 25 did for the Series S because it is the cheapest. And that's why everybody, the casuals who play College Football 25 are buying the Series S. If this is all true and we see a spike, that's why, because they go to the store and they go, well, I'm not going to be playing all this other stuff. Like, I don't care about, the first party titles. I just want to play College Football 25 because that's what I do. Play Madden, and now I got college football back and I play Call of Duty. What's the cheapest entry point? Well, of course, it's the Series S, exactly what Xbox created it for. The Series S is sitting there, $300 or less. Everybody's picking it up. Can you imagine if Microsoft just went, because I brought it up last night, we saw through the Insomniac leak, right? How much Disney got out of the bundles, right? With PlayStation for Spider-Man, right?
Yep.
Or Marvel, right?
Yeah.
How much of the bundle
crazy
percent? It was crazy, right?
Yeah.
If I'm Xbox and I care about my console sales, right? I still have an interest in making a move in consoles, right? You go to Strauss, and Phil and Strauss are good friends. You go to Strauss, you go, look, what do you need? 80% of the bundle? What do you need? And you plaster GTA 6 all over Series S's and you have a huge stock of them ready for that launch day. Whew, boy.
Dude, you could
grab a part of those PS4 people that are still sitting on PS4s. You could grab a sizable percentage.
Yeah, because you'll be talking about the PS5, which is cheapest version is like $500 or for the disc version. Then you got $400 for the digital, right? And what if you also have a discount on the Series S?
That's what I'm saying. You bundle you bundle GTA digital copy with the Series S. And you have the Series total. S. It had like $300 total for everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And you could do a 1-2 punch pong. So
yes,
you could have the bundle with GTA and then bundle in COD later on.
Sure. Absolutely.
Why not?
Should be using COD.
and those are the two top games.
They should.
Most likely.
Once they cut COD off, but that's the problem. Are they going to cut COD off from last gen, or are we going to roll into next gen with COD still being cross gen?
If you're Microsoft, the cost would be high, but the customer acquisition of those players migrating over to Xbox for the games like GTA, the amount of money that people will spend over time, is worthy of drawing those people over to Xbox for that kind of thing. Right, because
one game they could move that needle.
They're going to be playing this game for 5 years at least. They'll be spending a shit ton of money on it. They'll be buying 2K here. They'll be buying Call of Duty. Oh, I'm not buying Call of Duty. They'll be subscribing to Game Pass. Maybe
they might still buy it because they might be the casuals that only buy a couple games, and obviously Game Pass might not.
They have a really high conversion rate on console ownership to Game Pass Ultimate subscriptions too. So like,
correct.
Any new console owner is probably going to get Game Pass Ultimate. Right, like even if they just buy it for GTA, I think all in all you're looking at a pretty good amount of gamers that come over seeing these games like Indiana Jones or Call of Duty be like, okay, I just get the subscription. Like I think like you're right, like those kind of games are the ones you do, right? But like I would make the same argument for like Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's not like GTA, but how much Valhalla made was their first billion-dollar first billion-dollar game for Ubisoft. This is the first big Assassin's Creed that's current gen only, right? The big difference here is also going to be on PC, but like, why not?
That could be if you do GTA. That's going to move the needle, like for sure.
For sure.
There's nothing like Call of Duty,
nothing like GTA. But I think you could make a smaller case, like for moving customers over. How many Assassin's Creed fans are going to end up having to buy a console if they want to play Shadows? Because Assassin's Creed is one of the bigger franchises out there. There's a lot of Assassin's Creed fans, right? And this has been a highly anticipated game. For a while, people wanted the Japan Assassin's Creed, and like you're having this game come out. So like how many people, we saw what college football did. Will Assassin's Creed Shadows have a little bit of an impact as well for people migrating?
I don't know. I know Assassin's Creed tends to sell
It
Like,
sells
that's
on
Ubisoft's baby, but
it sells on sales too. Like the first week of sales of Valhalla was 1.2 million.
Right.
Yeah.
That's across both generations too, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about 1.2 million comparatively to what for GTA? I guess like
like
20 million in the
20,
first.
20
Yeah.
million.
I think it can hit 30 in the first. I think it can hit 30 in under a week. I think it could have pre-sales pushing over 20.
Yeah.
Maybe 30.
I think it's even
Yeah,
more
I
than
think so.
that. Like,
Especially if they do like an
I think
early
this is
access.
the first
it's
one to
over
do
with.
50 mil in 30 days.
That's
It'll be the most pre-ordered game of all time.
all time. It's gonna break all records.
Yeah.
Every
It's
record
gonna
will be GTA.
it's gonna take a. I wonder if 20 million people buy the game and it's like $90. That's gonna be insane. And then
Right.
on top of that,
Well, just round it to
GTA
100. If 20
Online.
million people pay it, that's 2 billion out the gate.
Does
which is
GTA
their budget. If their budget
cause-
was like $1 billion.
Does GTA potentially cause a rush on before it even comes out? Right?
Mhm.
Just so I'm thinking about this, like the inventory that's available and all this stuff.
Yes. They
GTA
have to
gets
be ready.
closer to launch, right?
Yes.
Does GTA cause a rush on consoles so much to where it becomes this actual shortage at that
Yes.
point?
If
And
PlayStation
the
X
one game
won't have
that
it, yes.
can.
Yes. If
Yeah,
they don't have
so like people may not want to wait for those bundles and stuff. You'll be lucky to get one, right? Like you may have at that point, like if that many people migrate all at once because they're anticipating one game that's the biggest game ever, right? That's like, oh my god, and they gotta get it. It's gonna create a phenomenon, and you're gonna see a mass migration from PS4 and Xbox One to the Series consoles and PS5s. I think they probably will start running out of stock.
But that's what I'm saying. You could do it ahead with the digital with the Series S because it'll be a digital code, right?
Right.
So you could still bundle it early, right? And say when available, you get GTA 6.
I would start now.
Does it? So,
Yeah.
as in a weird way, it's almost like the real battle for this generation, like for the second half, is really starting next year.
But it's not going to be even half because it might be all over with. Xbox might be on next gen in a year
That's
later.
crazy too.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then Sony could be 2027. We don't know. Like it could be the end of the generation when GTA 6 shows up, and all of a sudden everybody's like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
Yeah,
New
the whole
consoles are
industry is looking at GTA 6.
We just
yeah.
moved over. That's what I said last night, Mav. Like, how are you going to convert those people once you get them to PS5 or Xbox Series? How are you going to convert them to the next gen? Are those people just going to sit on GTA 6? Because Madden will continue to be cross-gen. Call of Duty most likely will continue to obviously be cross-gen, even if it doesn't continue to come out on PS4 and Xbox One. It'll come out and all those people that just converted over to PlayStation 5 and Series, they're going to continue to push it there along with the new consoles. So they're all going to sit there and do the same damn thing again. They're not going to go rebuy.
Have people migrate over again.
Yes, it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Here's what I think will happen as far as like the whole console shortage. Let's because I'm kind of in the camp of the PS5 Pro not coming. I'll get more into that later. But let's say it does come along, right? Scalpers will be at it again. The PS5 Pro will be hard to come by just because of scalpers. The S and the X will probably sell, and even the regular PlayStation 5 will probably sell like they normally do. Scalpers won't be as big of an issue.
Servers will not be online first day of GTA. Don't even try. There's no way.
No, but
I can't see that working.
No, but I could definitely see with the PS5 Pro with scalpers really, taking hold of that and stocking them in their basement, that the Series S winds up being the one that wins out, because nobody's going to want to buy the PS5, the regular PS5, when the Pro exists, and then they can't get their hands on the PS5 Pro. They're just going to be jonesing, to play the game, and they figure at worst case scenario, I get it on the Series S, and hopefully Take-Two has cross progression and whatnot. They won't have cross buy, obviously, but maybe they get cross progression. Pick it up on the Series S at worst case, and then they think to themselves, well, maybe I'll trade it in when the PS5 Pro is readily available. But at that point, they'll be hooked to the ecosystem. So they would have upgraded from the PS4 to the Series S. Thought about trading in the Series S for the PS5 Pro. Oh, it's now more available, but yet the Xbox next generation is available as well. So then PS5 Pro kind of loses out, other than the scalpers that took the early inventory.
So, yeah. What if GTA is delayed to 2026?
If it is,
And
and
Xbox has
doesn't do it.
That is
They
the
don't
best
do the
thing that
marketing?
could happen for Xbox,
yeah.
Yeah.
and the worst thing that
But
could happen.
and what if also it's delayed to 2026, but Xbox also has the handheld out there?
Right.
So they'll have the
Yeah, that'd be
handheld plus
bad.
a console option.
It'd be
Like,
massive.
do people at that point even consider double dipping on Xboxes so they have one like, or the handheld
go.
maybe, or the handheld would probably be dockable, right? It was
Yeah,
what we
it'd be
would hope,
dockable.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be that'll be a massive win for Xbox if it delays and they're ready. And they're ready in 2026 with new hardware. That would be massive win.
I just think about the younger crowd, like that,
Yep.
you know,
Because it
grew up on
probably won't
mobile
be on
devices.
Switch
and
2.
stuff. Yeah.
I mean, unless Take-Two works some magic and somehow squeezes it on Switch 2, but more than likely, yes, then Xbox or the PC handhelds out there would be, well, no, because the PC
PC
handhelds
is
would
not
go
getting
away
it.
right away. Yeah, not getting it. So yeah, Xbox would be the mobile version of GTA.
Oh
6.
my gosh.
That's
that
what I'm
would be
saying, bro.
That
It would
would
be
be-
crazy.
That would be massive. That might be even massive, even if it still shows up in 2025, but Xbox is ready with a handheld in 2026 to then market that as the only place you can take GTA 6 on the go. Yo, that's a whole
Yeah.
nother
But
marketing
yeah,
scheme.
you think about that, like handheld wise, though, you would also
Yeah.
be the console version of Call of Duty in handheld.
Correct.
So you would have that,
Yeah.
plus you would have GTA,
yes.
plus like
Right.
that.
That is a good thought, man, because that would be like, even if the PlayStation can claim that, well, we've got the most powerful, console version at home with the Pro, Xbox can walk right in and say, yeah, but do you want to take GTA 6 to work with you? We know you do.
Right. Hey, would you want to play it on the train on the way to work?
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yes.
Shoot.
Oh, you got lunchtime? You need to pull off some heists during lunch? We got you covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if it's persistent,
I mean,
like Fuzzy's claiming.
They do that
like, if
right.
it's going to be on another level of online, right? And people are going to be thinking about it nonstop, even more so because things are happening while they're away from it. And you got that handheld version. Man, that's wow.
Pretty cool, man.
Productivity in the world drops 18%.
Yes, instantaneously.
Everyone calls in sick.
The
For, like,
Beer Baron says a handheld that plays GTA 6 would have to be insanely powerful, costing around $800. It's going to be on the Series S.
Yeah.
gonna be on the Series S.
So whatever a Series S powered handheld would be like, and we see ones that are kind of equally capable out there in the PC format right now for less than $800.
Taking the biggest technological leap of any
Yeah.
generation, according to Sarabon.
Yeah, and you add the new technology and all that kind of stuff to it. I would think that a new Xbox handheld device that is it in line with Series S power, or a little bit more, a little bit less, or whatever, right around there, like probably a little bit more. Because of the new technology, AI, all that other shit that they're talking about. Like, yeah, I think GTA could play it, and I don't think you'd have to pay $800. Like, for the ROG Allies and the new Steam Decks and all these other things out there, like, you're not having to pay $800 for those things right now.
Yeah, and you get pretty good experiences on those. We're just in a generation.
Yeah, because you're talking about lowering the resolution for that device too, right?
Yeah, it's not going to be max settings, right? But
don't
it'll
care.
be.
People are playing GTA 5 right now on PS4 and Xbox VCRs.
And then you
Xbox
got
One VCRs.
a dock expansion add-on for like another $100 that adds a little bit of oomph to it, right? To get the resolution.
Depending on what they decide to do, it could actually be more in line with the, like we see Mr. Joanna Dark posting all the time. He uses that where it actually uses a GPU card to expand your handheld, right? I think they could be going that route too.
Yeah.
But man, I like your original. I didn't even think of it that in those terms, that if that was the case, they were the only handheld on the market that could play GTA 6 natively. That is a huge marketing coup for them.
Oh, that'd be massive. Yeah. Truthfully says handheld sales are like 3 million. No, like what are you talking about? Maybe
for like the PC ones or something.
Just, maybe
like
just for like the Steam Deck, but like how many units has the Switch sold?
Right.
Like,
what would GTA 6
in a
do
different
for the
market.
handheld? What would GTA 6 do for the handheld market if you're the only handheld that can pull it off? Because again, the PC handhelds are not going to have access to it.
Right.
If they don't, if they don't make a PC day one. Yo, that would be massive, man.
Yeah,
If
that is
Xbox takes
big.
advantage, it just
I mean, it has to be done right, though. I mean,
Right.
you know, but if they nailed it, if they did
Nail
it
it.
right, it would be pretty nuts.
Yes.
I think it would make a massive impact. Like,
Yes.
And the one thing Microsoft is really good at is software and sort of figuring that out between like I don't know exactly how they're gonna do handheld, but I mean Phil has kind of hinted that he wants that native experience.
Yes.
If so,
He said it absolutely has to be native.
yeah, 100%. It's got to be. Yeah.
And we know if there is a handheld, there is going to be some sort of seamless sort of experience where you're playing on a handheld, playing a console, and then you could bring that experience like between the two, right? That's just a given at this point of where they want to bring Xbox. So that's going to be really cool. Just to you play on your handheld, come back home, turn it back on, quick resume it.
Dock it,
Xbox.
and you got the there, or even if they have a standalone console as well, then they can say, yeah, we're all one ecosystem here. So you're playing GTA 6, you just come home and there it is. You fire up your console, it's on your TV, you're ready to rock and roll right where you left off.
Yep. My gosh, dude. I didn't even think of for some reason I didn't think about it in this context because I know the whole industry is waiting for GTA 6. They're getting out of the way. They know where GTA
they are monitoring GTA 6 because they have to. Like, you're not going to
do
put
not
any
want to
game
release
in
your
that
game.
around.
No. But after, maybe before, but you should not release your game even anywhere close to GTA, because that is what people will be playing. They will not have attention spans for other games. So it's going to be really interesting. But I haven't really thought about whatever Xbox's next console is, what the repercussions could be with that, and also GTA. If it is a handheld, we don't know if it's going to be a handheld, but I think based on the rumors and what people are saying, it could be a handheld. That could be the place to play GTA 6 on the go until they do a PC release, which I'm guessing maybe it's going to be a year or two down the line.
Probably a year.
Yeah.
About a year. So, at least for a whole year, playing GTA on your handheld, that could be a very good marketing thing. Now, I know that was a whole thing of Xbox marketing and all that. They would make an exception for a game like this, in my opinion.
Commit crime on the go.
Commit crime on the go.
Again, if it's a persistent world, the advertising would write itself. Like, if there's people like honestly worried about what's going on in the world while they're away from it, like, you grab those people instantaneously.
Yeah. Porky says, I think I'm the only one that doesn't like GTA. I strongly prefer Red Dead Redemption. Dude, I prefer Red Dead as well. I wish my dream would be like they put everything into Red Dead that they put into GTA. Oh my God. That would be like glorious. But
I have 0 hours.
You should be able to build your own town.
I have 0 hours in GTA Online. So you're not alone. I could care two fucks. I don't care.
Yeah.
Are you a Red Dead man?
I haven't liked this. It peaked for me in Vice City. So again, I might be the 1% that's not buying day one. Huh?
Yeah.
This is a return to Vice City, so
yeah, this might be the time for you, Paul.
Yeah, but it's
not the same.
It's
not the 80s.
No, it's not the 80s, man. I'm not driving my bike with Flock of Seagulls on. Okay, so
you want to see twerking on top of cars?
Not the same. I mean, again, I like my stuff like that. And again, I'm not saying 100% I won't buy it, but I could see myself. Steele's flat out said if it's not a PC, he's not buying it. So, and I believe him because he stands on those hills. Yeah. And if it's 30 frames on console, I probably won't pick it up day one. I'll wait. I don't need it. Let's put it that way. I don't.
That is going to hit you hard. You don't think so?
Get it for GTA anymore, bro. Unless they show me something where I'm absolutely like, okay, I have to play this now. I don't have any interest on the online. I don't.
Me either. I'm mostly I like to experience it online for a bit with friends and whatever. Yeah. But for the most part, I love the story and campaign of GTA and just doing absolutely nothing. Just going around the city, trying to rob a store, blow up some cars, die a million times, get
That's
5
what I turned
stars.
into. Like, that's what I turned into too. Like, I stopped
Mhm.
caring about the stories after, again, it peaked for me in Vice City, but I still enjoyed 3 and a little bit of 4, right? I did enjoy some parts of 4, so I played
Nico.
through some of that story. But then 5 just did nothing for me.
Four's
Like,
my four's my favorite.
I love 4. I love most of
Nico
the GTA
Bellic.
stories.
yeah, Nico
Nico
was cool and it was funny as
Nico's
shit.
cool.
Yeah.
So there was parts, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Okay.
I am
I'm
in
I'm
the
interested in
oddball group.
like
That's
I'm
whatever.
I'm interested because I know Rockstar. This is the one game I know they'll be pushing a lot of just interesting features. It's like based on the rumors, right?
Mhm.
Like let's say,
Mhm.
um, like they're trying to make it kind of like the Skyrim thing, where if you follow somebody, a civilian,
Mhm.
throughout their
They're gonna have
day,
their whole life.
yeah, they'll go shopping, they'll get in their car, pick up their kids, go to work, this stuff like that. Like they're putting that amount of detail in the game to the point where
It's
no
like the
other
movie
game
Free
will
Guy.
bring.
Have you seen
And
that?
and there's rumors that they're gonna have their own social media within the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you'll be
Right.
like tweeting within the game itself on
insane.
an
I
app
feel
in
like
the
you would
game.
want to experience that. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Mm, I
No,
don't know,
no.
man.
What if
Okay.
okay, so what if they have the in-game app, but then also you can install it on your phone, right? For
Right,
for
right.
the tweets or whatever you call
Yeah.
it, for them.
Yeah.
And that becomes the most dominant social networking platform now. It's because of
That's where
GTA.
breaking news happens is in GTA 6.
Right, we're all in the GTA like
God.
fake social media app on our phones because of the
That'd
game.
be
It, like
crazy.
it's,
All of a sudden
it's
we've got
More
we all of a
users
sudden
than
we got
X.
the mainstream media inside GTA 6
and
reporting on shit.
and
Oh my
2K
God.
controls the narrative of the world.
That would be insane, man. Oh my
Wow.
I
God.
don't even say that. I don't. Oh my God. Please help us all.
Well, we know in 5 was actually really
Strauss is
cool.
like in his chair, like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
he's like
He's like,
another.
"Oh,
It's
yeah,
like
it's all
he's like
these ideas."
mini Elon. You know what can I
Strauss
do?
can care less who he destroys. So yes, I can see Strauss doing that for sure.
But in 5, they had like a ton of websites in 5, and you can actually like search it up and stuff. I imagine they're gonna go like 10 times more than that in this one, where like which websites you can visit, how you could purchase cars and social media, things like that.
So they introduced
Yeah.
packs into GTA Online like 2K, so you can get like different weapons and cars just through packs. Though you have to buy
Yeah.
them.
The
Yeah.
one thing I really would like to see in the next GTA for the main story mode is a co-op. Like to me, 5 was probably one of my most favorite overall, just because of the variety, both in scenery and the characters and whatnot. But you imagine, although you could probably do a playthrough in like 6 hours if you had it where you take one of the 3 characters, but like have it where the co-op doesn't have to be online. Have it for the main
Mm.
story.
And I got 2
And
characters, so it would make sense if they did co-op, right? Got this sort of
yeah,
Romeo Juliet sort of Bonnie and
I
Clyde
think
situation going.
yeah, I think that's the only thing missing from GTA that they haven't really tried that would be a kind of a cool add-in. But I'm curious to see how NPCs act in comparison. Like, yeah, they've always pushed tech on like what the NPCs can do, although some of it's kind of limited on what the hardware can do. Um, except for on maybe PC, but like on console, yeah, you're only seeing like maybe 30 cars ahead of you, 30 cars behind you at most in traffic, or you're only going to be around like maybe 40 or 50 NPCs in like a city street before you start either running out of NPCs to kill or run over or whatever kind of thing. But I'm curious to see how alive the city is, because their cities have always been rather lively, between wildlife and just people in the streets or cars on the road. This one, I have a feeling it's going to probably push the hardware, not to the point where it's smoking, but I think it's going to push the hardware enough where we'll be begging for the next gen consoles playing this. It's like, oh, this is great, but what if it had more juice to it? It's like, would we be able to have the ray tracing and 100 people all around us at every time, and be able to dodge in and out of traffic, or create like a riot in the streets kind of thing, kind of deal? But yeah, I just want co-op. That's the one thing that they haven't tried in single player that I think would be a nice add-on. And from there, that would be bliss for me. That'd probably be the last. I wouldn't say the last third party game I ever played, but it would probably be just as bad as me playing from 2013 to 2015. Probably played GTA straight as my main go-to game daily until The Division came out. Then that became my daily game.
It's gonna be a massive game, man. Don't fucking know what's gonna happen with that. It was just one random comment that's created this like hour-long conversation about GTA 6. Oh, amazing! It shows how how big of an impact this game I think is gonna be, though. It's crazy.
Yeah, it could change the generation, like, of how many people buy the consoles, all these developers, how they produce their games around GTA. Like, it affects everything. So it's really interesting. Can't wait.
Well, I had some other topics to get into, but I kind of just like scrap some. But I have one more question to like when we do our outros for everybody. But chat, you guys rock. This was an awesome show. Thank you all for being here and having fun with us tonight for Xbox Ultimate. This was episode number 193. 7 away from 200. And hey, slower news week. Some shenanigans going on out there as usual, but a lot of
shout out to Bethesda,
play.
By the way, for getting their unions. Not just the QAs, by the way, devs, engineers, 241. And what a lot of people didn't think was going to come true, Microsoft okayed it, signed off on it.
Yeah.
So a lot of people try to claim they lied. They weren't going to go with the unions. And I said, if you're a union person, and again, I've got different opinions. I was part of a union family, so I know both sides of it. But if you are one of those people that think that unions are the way, Microsoft is changing the industry from that standpoint with some of these acquisitions by allowing unionization, and obviously Bethesda being a massive publisher, having 240 people, not just QA testers, actual devs, actual engineers joining a union. It's going to make waves in the industry going forward. Having a company like Microsoft sign off on it within one of their massive major divisions, it is a big deal. So love to see it for those people that chose to do it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Fuzzy Belvedere, thank you for being here. I have one question for you, and then tell everybody where they can find you. My question is, does a Halo show deserve to be picked up by somebody else and continue, or is it better left dead? And tell everybody where they can find you, bro.
Amazon, please, especially considering the wherewithal they did with Fallout. I think that would be a nice move. Stick a little bit closer to the lore. You don't have to follow it line by line, but stick a little bit closer. No more Master Chiefs or helmetless chief kind of thing. But I think Amazon is the home. Or let's see what Netflix does with the Gear series that they're going to be doing. Either one of those two. I think those are two of the better. Paramount's going through a transition with the merger with Skydance. They got their own gaming stuff going on and other stuff. So, and let this live on a bigger platform. What I would call a bigger platform being either Amazon or Netflix. But outside of that, everybody can find me on the Twitters at Fuzzy_Belvedere. No Shot podcast tomorrow, but look forward to Pixelated Echoes next Tuesday with Lord Cognito. I'm pretty sure 3 will get into more detail with his outro as well. Oh, also don't forget Xbox Lunch Break Special on Monday, 12 noon on Double Barrel Gaming with Mr. Boomstick. And then also FSP later on that night on this same channel, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Look forward to hopefully seeing everybody in the chat there. Thanks for everybody in the chat for coming out. Don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks again.
Thanks, Fuzz. I appreciate you, bro. 3-bit, does Halo deserve a second chance with another service? And tell everybody where they find you.
Kill this show and put it on Prime. So kill season 3 and then start over, put it on Prime.
So like start a new show on Prime.
A new Halo show.
Okay.
Yeah. And I say that also because of the Fallout success and what that can lead to Game Pass being on the Fire Stick, things like that. Like I could picture how when you're on Prime, you could see the cast and things like that. When you press pause, I
Yeah.
could picture like, hey, this scene comes from this Halo, and then you could just go straight into Game Pass. Something like that could be really cool. Yeah, that is my answer. You guys can find me on Twitter at i3bits. Pixelated Echoes with Lord Cog. There's not going to be a show on Sunday, but there will be a show on Tuesday. So be looking out for that. We've been trying to schedule it for a minute. It looks like this is the time. This is the date. So Tuesday, look out for that show. It's going to be a special one. And FSP on Monday as well, right here on this channel. So if you guys enjoyed, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Fun Speculation. We do a lot of awesome shows here. Everybody in the chat, you guys are awesome. And I'll see you guys on the next episode.
Episode. All right. Appreciate you, 3-bit. Pong Soul, same question. And tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Well. I made it barely. I'm still here. As far as Halo goes, yes, I talked about it last night. I'm actually optimistic about Halo. I think it could be a fresh start. Like I said last night, I think it'd be fantastic to have a show lined up for the reboot of what they're going to do with Halo, the game. I think now that Xbox has seen the success that transmedia can actually have when it's good. And again, I say that knowing that many people did enjoy Halo on Paramount and kind of enjoyed the direction that they went, and it was a different take. But I'm talking about real success. I'm talking about the Fallout success type. Mm-hmm. When you respect the IP, when you respect where it comes from as a game first, and then go ahead and build out the world around that, but you keep that part of it, the fun intact, the action intact, all of it, what made the games great. So yes, I am hopeful that they're going to do something as a casual Halo fan. Great. I said it last night, just like Fuzzy said, Amazon obviously makes a whole lot of sense if they can find the right person to oversee it. I think that just find a team that will maybe look at the games at least, like the Paramount people didn't. Like, okay. But I think this is a great opportunity for Xbox, for Halo as a franchise, because if they are rebooting it, we hear that they might have multiple projects in works, different places, whatever. If they could have one of those lined up right around the same time a new show comes out that does actually take Halo in the direction towards the games, I think it would be freaking amazing. And I think it could really be a big shining moment for them. So yeah, I think something good is going to come out of this, and I hope it does. But otherwise, everybody, brothers, it was great. 3-bit, always awesome to be on shows with you. It's rare. I just realized I never responded to your DMs. I'm sorry. It's been ridiculous.
Oh, I completely forgot. You're good.
No, I know I had it in the back of my head to get to yours and to respond. I'm going to try to be there Tuesday if I can. I can't guarantee it, but if I can, I will be there because I'd love to be on a show with you guys, obviously, because I was supposed to be on the one with Cog originally. I was there. Cog couldn't make it. Obviously, he had family emergency during that time. And I'd love to get back on a show. So with you guys, let alone having Cog there too. So it'd be a blast. So if I can make it, I'll try to make it. But Fuzzy, great to hear you, sir. I'm glad your electricity is back, and all that good stuff. So it was great to be on a show with you because we're not going to have a shop podcast this week. So it was great to be here with you, brother, and hear your thoughts on slow gaming news week. But then all of a sudden it turned into a long hour-long discussion about GTA 6, which is fantastic. It is. Yeah. It's fun as hell because that's what we're here for. We love gaming, man. And we have these big ideas and these big thoughts and this speculation. We love to get into that. And GTA 6 is the biggest and baddest game, whether I'm in that crowd or not. I gotta recognize it. It is that. It's a huge franchise. So this was a blast, brothers, to be here tonight. And chat, you guys were absolutely amazing. Really good comments, as always, in there. You guys going back and forth, talking about all things. We started the show by talking about movies. You guys were right in there with us, talking about the movies from the 80s and 90s. Love that stuff. Love you all. Thank you for being here with us. Nothing but respect that you guys share your time with us on all of these shows. So thank you for that. Otherwise, you guys know the drill. Pongsol and X, formerly known as Twitter, Pongsol on Xbox, Pongsol on Steam, GOG, Epic, wherever. And then, of course, tomorrow morning, get ready. Steele's on his work week, so he's working nights, so he comes in extra crispy on these weekends now. So Saturday morning, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, living split screen. Split screen's all one word. Buckle up, come over and join us. I know there's other shows going on, 2-tab it, whatever. Come by, stop by for 5 minutes and say hi. We'd love to see you in the chat. Steele and I will be live, raw, and uncut, 3+ hours. Buckle up and get ready for that. Again, I can't wait to hear Steele's thoughts on Flintlock because he has been playing Flintlock quite a bit. So can't wait to get into him with that and all this other stuff. So living split screen tomorrow morning. Be there for that. Next week, again, because we won't have the Shop podcast. PTK let us know tonight. He's doing some things with the wifey. So shout out to him. He's going to have a fun time Saturday night. So next week starts all over again. Double Barrel Gaming is the channel. Boomstick's the man every Tuesday for Xbox Factor podcast. All good things green, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. Show up for that crew. You can find Boom 5 days a week, but man, Tuesday is a little extra special. So be there for that one. But Thursdays when my week starts with this other dude right here, my brother from another Mav. So PM in the PM, where I take the lead chair every Thursday right here on the Fun Speculation Network. Pong and Mav in the PM, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. We always have a great show. We had a great show last night catching up. Otherwise, everybody, it's the golden age of gaming. It really, truly is, man. I still can't believe I see people weekly telling me, trying to tell other people that gaming's in a bad state and there just ain't much to play and it's just so boring and dead out here. I don't know what you're all talking about, man. So get out there, enjoy one of the thousands of games available in your back catalog right now, and play what you love. Love what you play. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Mav, get us out of here.
Thanks, man. You guys rock. Again, as always, thanks for being a part of what we do here on Fun Speculation. If you listen on audio, hey, leave a review on whatever your preferred platform is. It helps people find us. If you're here live, thank you for being here and taking part in the conversation. And if you're watching later on YouTube or wherever you are, hey, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about any of the conversations we had. And I appreciate you all. You fucking are amazing. This community, I absolutely love it. And hey, maybe it'll be a Mavcast this weekend if something strikes me to go live. And back Monday, FSP, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Like Pong said, back Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then here for Xbox Ultimate 194 next Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a good one, everybody. Peace out. Thank you.
Later.
Yeah.